Futures overall to start off your 2 o'clock hour, 0.5%, better part of 0.5% for the S&P right now, 0.2 for the Dow. It is the NASDAQ that's leading, continues to lead. It's been that way most of the day. Unfortunately, back to the downside we go, 0.4 for the TSX. Here in Toronto, Brazil having a nice day, 1.2. Crude off the highs, still up 0.9, 1.8 there for Ethereum now downside. This is what I mean. There's a few areas of the market here showing some underlying strength that we can jump into, including some of these healthcare names. Eli Lilly still holding on to a pretty good day here, 4.3% on that FDA approval we mentioned early on this morning. AbbVie here as well, 2.5%. Merck, Bristol Myers being dragged along with Eli Lilly on that note this morning. But mixed overall for the healthcare group. As you can see, there are a number of names in negative territory. Consumer staple names back in positive territory as well. A lot of the food services group having a pretty good day. CAG here, there's KMO to name a few. Pepsi as well, 0.7% back to the upside. Energy stocks higher, crude trying to bounce, as I said, 0.9 there back to the upside. It's tough to see, but that little green box right there is Lennar bouncing off of an earnings report that was better than expected. KBH, though, unfortunately back to the downside as they missed. Caesars, 10% to the downside. It's SSR right now. All of the travel names getting hit today once again, but some of the casinos and hotels actually leading the way as far as negativity is concerned for that group right now. So consumer discretionary and tech names leading to the downside. Financials as well under pressure once again. I mentioned that FDS down 7% off of earnings as well, and forecast that was cut. AXP 3.6% to the downside. Little bit of negativity in some of the payment names. We'll talk about Square. We'll talk about PayPal coming up here as well, as both of those are tumbling also. But yeah, that's the S&P. I mean, outside of individual names on the NASDAQ standing out, yeah, Sean, I'm juggling. I'm mocking me off camera right now. Let's jump into, there he is. Hi, I'm over here. There we go. I like that camera.
I've been listening, actually.
Let's jump into a few things we were discussing in the pre-market this morning. Sean is set and ready. He is going to lead the way this afternoon. Here we go.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, no, not mocking anybody. I was going like this, like the gun salute there. But okay, Meta right now. Look, it's going to be a pretty easy one. This is one and done. And I just want to talk about, because this is kind of like, I'm stealing something from Michael Noss on Trade Ideas here a little bit, is that this is like a series, right? Like as I grow as a trader, I'm going to try to make these trades of the day and just make them sort of easier every single day and try to follow my own rules. So I really feel like we've done a good job of that. And by the way, today's trade of the day and every trade of the day sponsored by Day Trade the World. Hit that QR code below and start your prop journey today. Okay, look, this is about as easy as it can be. Let's first of all just go over to the 20-minute. We already identified it. It's on the sticky note. We wanted to watch Meta today. So there it is right there. The 52-week low comes into play right down there at 141. A couple bounces off today, including that big, huge move over the last couple of days, bringing us into that level. But here it is right now. This is just about as simple as it can get, man. Down here to 141. Now this is where it's, you know, it's an idea, and this is what I've been getting much better at, I feel like, anyways, and that is that respecting these bottoms, right? So here we go. We wait for a bottom to be made. Yesterday after market, when we started to crash down, we made that bottom of about 141, 141.50, right? So today we are automatically looking at this 141 area. Notice in the first few minutes, this is a 1-minute chart. Notice in the first few minutes, we actually don't wind up taking any trades. We let Meta tell us where the bottom is and where the top is. And as you're going to see, when it comes crashing back down there, and this is where I go back to my old self and make a first mistake, right? We get in right there at VWAP at 142, thinking that, hey, we've already made the high of 143. Let's see if a drop down of $1 is good. But then when it breaks it, we get out real quick, like 141.75. We take a 25-cent hit there, absolutely no problem. But as Meta comes back down in here, this is where we say, okay, first position there, 141.25. Next position, 141. And we're just using some of these bottoms. That bottom wick right there is 140.75 or so. So right now we're loaded up, ready to go, willing to take that 25, 30, 40-cent hit on worst case scenario. Love that view, by the way. That's an awesome one. So hopefully we can keep doing that. Look at this move, boom, right back up to the upside. And I said, the funny thing about this is, and I can't, so Right now, I've gotten out of my own way about getting too many shares too early. But the thing is, I was just loaded up down here, like so many shares, that when it started to pop back up, there's just so many outs here. And again, it's just, I'm piecing them out. Like, I had so many shares that I wasn't even taking out like 10%. Like, I was taking out like 1%, 3%, 4% as it was moving all the way up to the upside. Remember, we're here on a prop floor, so we actually get paid. So if we add liquidity to the market, so if the market is, for example, up here, 144.06, if I want to get out there, I can just put an ARCA or a something there, some sort of an EdgeX. I need to get paid to start to sponsor all these guys. One of these gateways right there to get out. Therefore, you are adding liquidity and you get paid to do that. But anyways, out all the way up, and there we get out again at that 142.50. So that's $2.50. Comes back down, breaks a little bit, we get another piece out. But we wind up holding. Unfortunately, there we were busy doing something else. That would have been another buy. But then there's the move right back up, and then there's me getting out right there at 142.50 again, what it was the high. It's your trade of the day for two simple reasons. One is patience. We waited for this to fall back down, so that's the first reason. Wait for your trade to come to you. Don't force it. You don't have to put the chips in until you get it. The second point was not only be patient, but make sure that you have an out that makes sense for you. Because even though I had loaded up amount of shares there, even if it went down against me 30 or 40 cents, I'm still surviving, and I still have a lot to go. There's a lot more in the day. So that's kind of the lesson here. Put your money in when it comes into you, when it's an idea that you like, and when you have an out. It's your trade of the day, and it's Meta.
First time in a long time, we're seeing a little bit of relative strength even coming back into Meta outside of some of the other big tech names that we'll get to here as well. But let's jump into everything else you need to know here that we were discussing in the pre-market. Had big tech on that in the morning. Make sure you grab it every single day. More than 30,000 people getting that now every day before we come on at 8:30 for free. All you need is your email address. Use the QR code there. It's very simple. Then it just appears every single morning. Here's a note on Meta. Speaking of, they came out and said, yep, some people having problems with Instagram. Sorry, they're working on it. There's also a note on, or a couple of things to know on Square. Notice that Square was back to day lows. So just quickly, there was that story on Amazon. So they've extended their partnership with Amazon in Canada. So that came out this morning, and then this Mizuho downgrade as well that we talked about in the pre-market as well. But wow, Square having quite the day to the downside. So is this one. Credit Suisse under pressure big time here. There was a pop back to the upside. So they came out, this spike here and that volume spike to the downside was on a note that was suggesting they're considering from the financial side of things leaving the U.S. market. They then came out just before we came back on and said, that is in fact not true, and they have no plans on leaving the U.S. market. So Credit Suisse bouncing. But let's talk about Square here, because what an ugly day for not only the Square itself or Block, but some of the payment names under pressure big time here. AXP, PayPal once again, all of these guys back lower.
Yeah, I'm so glad, and welcome everybody. It's a lot of fun. Man, I still have Prad's beat in my head. It's just,
How can't you get that out of your head?
It's so catchy. It is so unbelievable. It's just, I'm never going to get out of my head. I'm just the numerous ideas flowing around when he's just dropping the hot fire, like the super hot fire, like he obviously is when he's up in the booth. I'm actually angry at myself over Square, because this was one of the first, it might have been like the first thing out of my mouth in terms of looking for a beat up stock that should have been shorted today. And checks, executions, that's how many big, fat, zero executions for myself on Block. And yeah, it's going down. And it was weak. It got even more weak. I said if it's beneath that 60, look for the short, and then it never really popped up. I could have had that breakdown. But it does fall on the lines. I mean, look, if we talk Rivian or the EVs, I guess we'll probably discuss this. When you start breaking major shelves, which this has been doing since 65, it's been on a collision course to the June low, which, just checked it, yeah, about to take it. I mean, it's actually through the June low, but I look at that 55 as the nearest round number to that when you zoom in here. So we're about to break major resistance, or support, I should say, on Square if we take out this 55 even. So I don't think this is necessarily done at this time. It's a little bit tricky sometimes to want to go short through a low of the day, but that 55 break, I'll be taking a shot at it, whether it's today or tomorrow. The lesson I learned from this is a lot of times, like, you can have you can have your A plus, what you think is your best setup, and it's just not going to happen for you. Like it looked like in the pre-market we were moving up, testing 59, like we're going to move into 60, and then that's going to be the short in front of that level. We're grinding higher, and then we tick back down, but we held that support. I thought we were going to get that pop. So many times we see that same thing where if you short the bottom here, it then runs like $1 back into the high, and then you end up getting burned by getting in too early. In this particular case, being patient, it never came to my price, and I ended up missing out on square. 55 is going to be a monster if it gets down there. I don't want any longs in block today. I just can't see any reason to do so. This is just entirely too beaten up. And some of the criticisms focusing on Bitcoin or having too much of a focus on Bitcoin, losing their sight. Whether you think it's valid or not, the chart's showing you a pretty dead stock right now.
Yeah, I didn't really look too much, or at all, I should say, not too much, at block today. So for me, it's just going to be whatever. I mean, we've talked about those levels. Neil just went over them. I think a name that's very similar, obviously, to block is going to be a PayPal. And I actually should have noticed this today when we were talking about block in the morning, and we just should have gone over to PayPal because PayPal had that 90 level that was super key. And look what happened when it came to 90. It didn't even... it was just acting like it wasn't even there. It hit 90 and just tanked all the way down to 88.50 without even a blink of an eye right there. So PayPal today, got through the ringers. There's that 90 level. Look, it held. That's the 20th. So today's the 22nd. So that held 2 days ago, 90. And then this was a level that I've been looking at. So kind of not embarrassed, but that would have been a good level to hit for sure. That's 90.50. There's the 90 if you're going to look here again at a longer range. Yeah, I mean, 90 came in. There's the 90 top. So if you're going to look to buy some PayPal, I don't, like I said, I'm not going to buy any of these names for a bit. So we'll have to wait to see where we go on this. But PayPal now breaking below the 50 period and looks like it wants to continue its move down. So yeah, I'm be a little bit weary of this name as well. I mean, these fintechs just keep getting blown up, man. I mean, Upstart, we talked about Upstart the other day as well, and just how nasty that, now that's 21. Oh, geez. I was looking at this, at this level break here, 20, I mean, it just broke it again today. That's 22.85. We talked about this yesterday, 22.50 on Upstart. It was a trade that I almost took yesterday. It's just the volume wasn't there. And look what happens when this breaks 22.50. There's the bottom, and then it's never really came back. So yeah, a lot of names to pick on here as we stare at this market continuing to move down. Yeah, SoFi probably. Let's check out that new bank as well. That's a New York name. Probably worse. Yeah, I mean, this was up to 6, I think. Actually, I'm a little bit surprised at this one. This name was actually up to $6, and now it's not. This is not even that bad, really. I mean, here's the daily chart. Wow. I mean, maybe we just in surfing around, we might have been able to find something here. So definitely looking at this one here to hold. Maybe let's see if this is the next leg to drop. You might want to go short on new holdings here. It's held up, but if it's going to be like the other ones, we should be down here near $3 pretty soon.
Just watching NIO here go red to green, or trying to go red to green once again, bouncing off that early support. But this was another one. I mean, we were talking about the strength or potential strength for some of the EV names today. NIO was higher pre-market, got a nice push up to 19 and change. But here we go, back towards day lows even for NIO. I mean, there's a number of individual storylines that we were discussing in the pre-market as well. There was a new SUV for this Li Auto XPeng as well, talking about their battery supply options going forward after exiting a deal with CATL, who apparently supplies everyone else in this industry. So all of these, and if you missed it, oh yeah, Tesla had a 1.1 million vehicle recall in the US as well.
Yeah, you could pick your poison with the EV weakness today. I decided I like Ford and Rivian. Ford was at 13 level. I did have the long in front of 13, and then it sort of broke down at that level. But Rivian was one of those. It's at the 50 period. You can sort of see 35 was just sitting there waiting for the taking. It was in a downward trend. Pretty much everything you're looking for. On my 15-minute chart, you had some pretty good price history around 35 being resistance into support. Like the support on the last move up was at 35. That's where it pivoted around. Then you get the bottom at 35 yesterday. So, zooming in here, this was one that I knew I wanted to short at that level. The only thing that kind of sucks is, sometimes when we get off at like 11 o'clock, we do some other things, and it's not an excuse. It's entirely my fault, because what I should have done here is sort of structured a trade when it broke 34 for for something that I would be willing to hold if I wasn't really attending to it, which is, take a little bit less, then give it a little bit more room. Instead, I got it and was like, I can't really manage this. Let me just get out of the trade, and then I'll hopefully be able to work back in it, because Rivian has not stopped falling. It's still going to the downside. It's not like this is the one that I should still be in. Like Ford is not the one that I should still be in. As much as it's okay, and when it turned around at 13, it's still trending down as well, but it's not nearly as weak. So unfortunately, I'm kind of sitting in the one that's not really going as much to that downside. But you pick your poison. They're all pretty weak right now. Testing and breaking lows. Nvidia just got to the low of the day. This market's coming right back to the bottom. Yeah, Google just broke back below $100. I guess it's another one of those afternoons, right? Where's the long going to be?
I don't know. I just took Microsoft long, so new position on Microsoft right here. But look at AMD, man. We just put this trade on for you live on the air. I came back to my seat. We put this AMD trade on. We talked about that. There it is, a nice little move to the downside on AMD. There's the short right there, man. 70.25. Now 40 cents in the money on this AMD trade. So let's see if it wants to continue to make the march to the downside. I'm really focused on Microsoft. It just bumped back up into the money for me. But I don't know, man. We're long at right now against that 240. Now we're flat. We're long right here at 16s. It just keeps on bouncing up basically to that level and not breaking higher. So yeah, there are going to be some names here that are going to be worrying us right now. I'm focused on Microsoft. I have more shares on Microsoft here on the long than I do on the AMD short. But that's just because we've been really destroying Microsoft today. I don't know if we're going to talk about that. We're not. Big tech is next. So yeah, we've just been really hitting the Microsoft longs here today. Again, boom, 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 again, all day long. And then here's another average into Microsoft. Just respecting these 239.50 bottoms. So yeah, that's another one there. I don't have any EV trades today. AMD, Amazon, Google, Meta, Softy is what I'm working with. So boom, there's another one, man. Let's just go. Like, we're smoking these days. This has just been a great little trading opportunity for me over the last couple of days. And I think that you guys will know this for yourselves. It's like when you start reading things properly, it's a complete game changer, right? And you're seeing Prad talk about some things that he's learned from us as well. And I hope that the same thing is for a lot of you. Like, look at that trade right there. We loaded it up at 11, and now it's at 40 back on the upside there for Softy. So a good day of trading here, and it's going to continue, Brendo.
The big tech names in general back on watch this morning, in addition to the fact that all of them were higher versus what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, with essentially just Apple leading the entire market back to the upside. That gave you, reason enough to be watching these whenever you get an overall market move that started, let's be honest, yesterday afternoon with the Fed. You got to have these in mind. Here's Meta as well, 1% higher on the day. You just saw Microsoft as well, still in positive territory, about 0.5%. And then you go over to Apple, guys, and yeah, down today, 0.8%. So finally seeing a little bit of a shift as far as where the strength is coming from when you go to big tech.
Yeah, I mean, it was your trade of the day there today for Meta, although I wanted it to be Microsoft, but I mean, Meta was trending a little bit better. So we'll go back over to Meta, and I think it was just a one-hitter there for me back down there to 141. I mean, that was just waiting and being patient for that, but you are right, Brendo. Meta just continues to be the monster that we all think it can be. Do we? It's down near 52-week lows. It's just for a day trading vehicle. This is a name that I really love to trade. I mean, there's so many great opportunities here for Meta, obviously, including yesterday's big move in the Fed. I mean, this is why I trade it. We have to be flat at the end of every single day. So if you are looking to put on, risk or some kind of a position, then, Meta's a great one because there's a lot of liquidity and the movements are there. Like, this is $10 from a 150 top, well, 149.75 top there, all the way down to 141, so $8 move down, and then almost the same, about a $6 move up when that popped off. So yeah, I really like this name. I still think you're going to test back down here. I mean, today it's just trading counter, and I think it's because we did hit that 52-week number there yesterday. So I feel like there are going to be some people that are going to come in and try to value buy. There's a reason why Microsoft's up. That was a 52-week low yesterday. I believe Google's still up today anyways. Let's check that on the percentage-wise. Yeah, so Google's up today. Like, all these big tech names are actually up today because they hit 52-week lows yesterday, and I just feel like they're being bought back. That's could be completely wrong, and we could see these new 52-week lows tomorrow, but a little bit of a relief rally today for Google, for Microsoft. We've talked about that, and then now again for Meta. So Meta, nicely done. I mean, up to 144.50. Yeah, I mean, that could be a decent short there. I don't, as far as looking at what we're doing today, we're going to continue to be patient and wait for these names to fall or to rip to key levels. So for me, I'm in softy. I mean, this AMD trade, we're still big tech, so we could talk about this. I mean, look at this. Look at this short. So we got long early and out. That was easy. Then we take that short on the pop to 72.50, right? Then we take the short rate there. And like we're 70 cents in the, and I have to do this again, in 70 cents in the money because it's just been a great trade. And there we go. We get out of our our Microsoft because that dips back down below. And when it rips up there, this is why you get out. Look, it went right back to the 200 period and then it dipped down. So when we're wrong, we lose 10 cents there. In at 11, out at O's on the break, so 99s, right? That's 12 cents worth of a hit. On the way back up, you could see we made that money, and we're holding right now for this AMD just collapse down in. So, trading sometimes can be difficult, but when you make it easy, sometimes it lights up, and that's what we're trying to do here with big cap tech. Be patient. It's a scalping game, but you have to wait for your levels because these names are moving dollars and dollars at the blink of an eye.
Exactly. Look, I'm going to talk about Apple in a quick second, but I got to go to something that's actually moving big here, obviously, first. Someone just asked, why is Cassava Science doing what it's doing? Part of it is going to be, sometimes you have a catalyst, but 33% across the board is a short float on Cassava Sciences. So what happens when something goes to the upside and it's heavily shorted? You get a squeeze. And that's why you're seeing it up 34% after already having, 2 days ago, this was a $29 stock, and it just did a 50 break. I just had the 50 break. It tried to go. I saw like the lack of a bid above the 50, which to me is usually a bit of an exit. So I do just immediately stop out. It's a key level that I hate chasing it this high. And when it doesn't work right away, I don't want to lose $2 on the trade, so I'm not really going to try to get myself caught up there. I did pay for short, so I am willing to work this one back in. But this has been an absolute tear the last couple of days, and it is getting into some price levels, especially if it gets to 55, but even this 50, where I think the rug could start to get pulled. That's why I was not willing to give this long very much room. If it's a wick top, I'll probably take 2 or 3 shots at that short, at least. I think the risk to reward is going to be there. Apple, I loved the breakdown on Apple at 152. I had it twice. The first time stopped out. The second time was pretty much my day on Apple. It really didn't go that far, but it got to the 50. The break was very, very clean. I'm looking at this holding VWAP as the market's at the lows, and I have a pretty tight stop in here. If we hold VWAP as the market tries to bounce off the low, then I like Apple for relative strength. If we can't hold this area, then I think it's turning back into a short. So a quick little tight stop. I think it's a relatively strong name for now, but this market wants to head back down to the low, so you have to consider those shorts. But Sava, I don't want this if it's above 50. I want to see it failing that price. If I'm going to short it, I want it failing 50 or I want it failing 55.
It's all about retail interest, I think, coming back into Cassava Sciences. There's nothing new on that. Remember the other day they had that SEC note that kind of gave them the green light, saying that the data that was released, there wasn't any sign of anything bad as far as that data is concerned. So, yeah, market back to day lows, as Neil was mentioning. I want to mention this Hood story, or I guess it's affecting a bunch of names, but there was that payment for order flow story this morning from the SEC. Bloomberg reported it first, but downside we go for Hood. Charles Schwab looks like this as well. Virtu, which is VIRT. The only one really holding any kind of a gain today, I just saw up about 6%, where these are down 2.5 on that payment for order flow note this morning. If you missed it, they just said, as you were, essentially, for all of these.
Yeah, you know what? Robinhood was a frustrating one for me because initially it was a fantastic long off the open. You can have payment for order flow, obviously a positive catalyst, and it's going to have gapped up on that. And I ended up taking and defending the long at the open, first at 1060 and at 1080, and then it got up to like 90s. We then took a second long on the breakout and essentially gave it back, right? So what I made on the original long, we ended up giving back, and then this happened. I always say this, and it'll look like, well, why would you get out of a short as it broke the low? Well, what essentially will happen there is I had my stop originally from the original long, and when it works, your stop doesn't actually get triggered, right? So the first long worked, I didn't trigger my stop. When I was out of position, it triggered me into a short that I didn't want. I'm not going to take the second to it. I don't assess, do I want this trade? If a volatile stock pops in that I didn't want, I'm just getting out of it. And I end up making 2 cents on a stock that went like 50 cents to the downside, but I will do that 10 times out of 10 because the alternative would be, as you're thinking about whether you want, do I want this trade that I wasn't intending on getting? Well, what if it snaps back up, rejects that bottom, and then you get absolutely burned? I don't want that happening to me. So Robinhood gave it up. I wasn't really looking short. I was really just looking for that long. The initial long was good. The second long, I don't think so. Sava, I did just get into Sava. I said if it failed at 50, which is there's your wick high, there's your failure at 50. That's where I'd be looking to take an entrance into it. I do want to give it a couple of shots here. I do have a bid down at that previous high and then work back into that 47 area as well. Cassava Science is rolling back down with the rest of the market here. And my goodness, Rivian's at 33 even.
Does anybody remember? Yeah, AMD broke the low of the year, 52-week low, those things are called. Does anybody remember a name? It was like a kind of like an ARC name, a name that I thought was like way too high, and I just made the call a couple days ago for the short, and that you could probably do it, and I had no idea why it was this high. If you guys suggesting DraftKings, then you are right, because I talked about this just 3 days ago when it was up here at 19. Look at this move now for DraftKings, right? Down 7.24%. Again, raising rates, not good for any of these companies that continue to not make money. You're going to see, you see Square all the way down on crypto and some of the same concerns with the higher interest rates now. And look at DraftKings, just now taking down the 50 period and making this move back in. I do like the name though, but I like it much better at $11 and $12 down here for eventually, again, you don't want to buy one for a possible buyout, but they have a lot of clients and customers, and I don't know if you can invest in FanDuel or not, but that's like another competitor there that's directly involved. So in that, but I like DraftKings just a little bit lower, but that's a great move down for DKNG. Yeah, Robinhood. I don't have much to talk about. We looked at that earlier, and I think that you always want to talk about names that are in play. So Robinhood today. And I actually said this earlier on when we talked about this. It didn't really matter to me about that whole pay for order flow. There's just so much competition. These guys aren't making money either. So Robinhood all the way to the downside. Come save them, Mr. Sam Bankman-Fried. But I don't know, unless he's the guy that's going to come in and put a different valuation on them. Jamie Dimon came out yesterday, said crypto was a Ponzi scheme. Obviously, I don't believe in that, but at the same time, he's going to make noise, and that's going to get followed. So 1150 there, the top for Robinhood. I don't know how much longer it's going to take until we see that again, to be honest with you. I feel like we could test some of these bottoms, especially if this market continues to go to the downside. So that's Robinhood. And then just so you guys, for those of you looking at trading similar to what I'm doing right now, AMD is $1 in the money. We shorted that as we started the show. So that's big time movement to the downside. I was going to target these outs, man, 69.55 or so. So that's where my outs are. So I just want to target that for everybody. We will take for sure an 80-cent win on AMD. So that's going to be what we're looking at, 69.50 there. Just this break to the upside. I want to be able to hold it. So, but at the same time, I want to take profits. I don't know what the end of the day is going to bring. So 69.50 right there on AMD.
Still showing some relative strength and still holding up nicely here. I saw a lot of people throughout the lunch period talking about this one. Rum at the bottom of the list there, still 5.5% to the upside. If you missed it, they did a live stream early on today from the NASDAQ with the CEO. A lot of people asking, though, simply the question, is this a long versus this low? Since it switched its ticker over to Rum down here around 12, now that we have a little more clarity on Rumble, guys.
I don't know. I kind of feel like at one point it did seem like it was on the verge of a breakout, and then the market decided we didn't want to take any highs, and then it's kind of pulling back with everything else. Sure, it's still up on the session, but I sort of point to the volume. Like if you pull back and the market's going down, and you're doing a bunch of volume at these types of prices and trying to grind higher, fine, fair enough. But I see. Yeah, you guys can see the volume down there. There's really nothing happening on it. It's still pretty quiet, which leads me the other way. Every time it bounces, it's doing so on no volume. And because I see a spread and I see essentially not a lot of liquidity up there, so not a lot of buying actually has to occur to get it to go up. I'm a little bit skeptical if it can continue to run to the upside today anyways. That bottom, if we see it, I don't mind defending, a low like that. I can be there. I can be at 11.50 if we get to that price, and we're not going to get there today. It doesn't seem like it. So it feels like this might be a nothing burger this afternoon. I guarantee you, Sava's not going to be a nothing burger, to be sure. I did take that first leg out. I said, okay, we're going to short it when it fails 50. That previous high right there was like 48.80. We'll get some out in front of that and then work down to that last channel, which is about 47.5. So right now, Cassava Sciences, which I promise you, there's lots of people that probably had this long very early. I don't know why I'm not seeing any data before 10 o'clock, but most of the major movement in Cassava Sciences did happen after 11 when we got off the air. Like, it actually took off right about here at 11:30, and then on volume right at noon is when it took 44, and then it's been shooting to the upside. I just see a big wick top through $50. That's the fade I'm looking to play in Cassava Sciences, but that's been a huge runner, right? As much as I'm looking short right now, it's been a big story to the upside.
Yeah, I haven't traded any Sava, but Rumble, I mean, we talked about that. You don't have that $10 bottom anymore, so for me, I'd rather stay out of Rumble. I just don't know what's going to happen with CFVI, Rumble, or I don't know what's going to happen with DWAC. I don't know, that's another name there. I know apparently President Trump was having the Attorney General there in the States dropping lawsuits against both him and his family and the corporations and everything. So I don't like. Even if DWAC eventually turns over to a SPAC, I mean, this name was $180 or whatever it was when it really spiked up there early. But forget about those early days. That is what it is. But look where DWAC's been doing right now, right? So if you're going to say that, the Truth Social is supposed to sort of help out Rumble, well, I mean, that's not happening. Will YouTube or any of these guys ever be sort of challenged by like a Rumble? I don't think so, but again, it's content. And I just worry that, if you're on this side where, you're wondering what's up with DWAC, what's up with Rumble, I just get a little nervous that politics is always going to be part of the talk here. So for me, I'm pretty nervous, and I'm just going to use the e-signal chart for Rumble because, again, we don't really have that going. But right there, here's the $10 level for CFVI. Now, remember, that could not have broken because, well, I mean, it could have broken, but due to the fact that it had that bottom shelf there of $10. So even if you don't get a deal, you got to return that because that's what was invested. So I get nervous. Like, I would rather buy it down here at like 10.50 or 11 rather than 13, just hoping that this 10 can hold. But remember, this is not like a technical level. It was there for a reason. So there it is right there. FedEx earnings out. Is that what that is, Brendan? All right, let's go to Brendan.
Yeah, if you remember, guys, obviously last week we got the preliminary numbers from FedEx and a whole bunch of negativity from FedEx. They were scheduled to report aftermarket tonight, but this just came out. Which is they've announced a $4 billion program specifically put towards cost-saving measures by 2025. And here are all the numbers for their current quarter earnings. So earnings out here for FedEx, guys. Big move higher.
Yeah,
okay, well, that's good for the market because that was one of the reasons why.
Well, I didn't see any of the numbers, so I understand. Look, if they're going to do cost cutting, that's good. But
yeah, I'm not worried about the numbers themselves, but at least it's up.
Yeah, it's definitely up. I'm glad it's going to be up there. By the way, I reloaded some Sava. If it takes out that high of the day, I want to get out. FedEx, I'm definitely glad it's up because if this had broken down below 150, I think that would have been some really bad things for the market, and certainly that space. I mean, I don't know what UPS is doing right now, but I'm sure they're breathing a sigh of relief. At least that stock is breathing a sigh of relief. That 150 is now held. Again, without knowing exactly what the numbers are, we did spike up to one. This is real. It did spike up to 160 and pull back $3.50. So you want to be at least a little bit careful if you're just jumping in here. Like, I understand it's moving without knowing exactly how they did top and bottom or seeing a little bit of the guide. It'd be really tricky to try and peg this here. I don't know how good that report is going to be, but I'm happy to see it to the upside, to be sure. By the way, I just did a couple of things there. One was take more shares. Load up. We just bounced off the low of the day on Ford, and I was sitting in front of 1275. So as it bounces higher, I'm looking for VWAP or maybe 1290, 1292s as a re-entry point to try to grab some more of that. I am in Google. We're looking at the long in Google. Excuse me. We're looking at the long in Google this morning. off of this level here. It just kept on channeling upside, but it wouldn't really break. You had a nice little bull flag going, and it was going like 99.80 or 100s into 130, 140, and then eventually it broke, so it gave it up. And now it's like, well, how many times does it have to test 150 cents, not $150, and just reject inside of this range? So started shorting it, and then second I went for a reload at 140, it's now broken VWAP. So I'm looking to hold this down into a potential break of this 99.50 area if it does go. And then, of course, Cassava Sciences, enter twice, just tested above 50 again, another wick top at 50 even. So I did re-enter the short. I'll play it back into the 49, then back to 47. At any point, if it takes out this high, 55 is the next level up. I'm not holding a 50 short into 55. Not going to do it. I'll be getting out if it breaks the high of the day. But FedEx, I want to see this maybe settle down or get some actual details on that. Happy to see it up, though.
Yeah, over to FedEx. That makes you think, again, not just makes you think about Amazon, but I mean, Amazon is one of those names that was hit on that kind of a report by FedEx a couple days ago, like we just talked about. All right, I got to go. I have orders on Meta and all this stuff. So right now, Meta 50s. If we can get a 50, I mean, you're right there, right at VWAP. So, I mean, coming back in, I think we can try a Meta one more time against this 142 bottom. Although I won't wait for that long. You know, we'll get out a little bit earlier if it does fail, but I want to see what happens here as Meta's coming back in pretty decently right now as well. And then the other name that we've been really hitting for the longs, I mean, we got out of our AMD. We can, you know, we'll go, whoa, because that was a good one. We take 80 cents on the AMD short, but Microsoft, we want to start building this in the 70s, so this is nowhere near. But I want to start to build this down here and see if we can, you know, resist again some of that 50 level. So we'll see if that can come in. That it did come in, but not enough. I mean, you can go long off VWAP down there on Microsoft. It's just, I mean, I got to look. Yeah, 239.50. I mean, that's 239.50 is just too key down there. So I want to play off some of those bottoms and then give it down there. So if that does come in, good. There was a name that I wanted to talk about. It was Amazon. So Amazon, again, is right on the, shoot, it's now ripping up because of FedEx. But this was a name down here that sort of bottomed out. And this is the #1 name on the sticky note again today, I believe. No, it's down there, but it says the short sell for Amazon. We talked about that all day. I've just been playing the short. Our first short was at 118.30. So if you've been playing that with me, I mean, it just bounced off some of these bottoms. But Amazon's another one of those names. We just missed the Meta long and the Microsoft long, but let's see if it'll come back for us a little bit more. The market's just trying to figure out what it wants to do. What's up, Brendan?
Just reading through more of this FDX data that's coming through here, guys. It looks like some of the positivity coming from the cost-saving measures that they've announced, not necessarily the actual numbers, but I can give them to you here. So 333 is the EPS, 23.2 billion is the revenue for the quarter, and then the guide 265 or greater, they say, per share for fiscal 23, and then revenue of 23.5 to 24. So compare those to these. That's not great anyways. But up here, 350 to 500 million in savings coming next year alone. That's on just 2023. And then 4 billion total again over to 2025. So maybe more about the cost saving measures than anything.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's already starting to pull back in here as I see it try to reclaim these previous highs. 155 was a previous high. I think that would be a pretty solid zone if it's able to hold out and then the longs win the day. I think that'd be good for the market overall, but for the stock, if it doesn't hold the 155, I don't know how many times I've seen Spike News, you know, not hold. If it doesn't hold that first pullback, oftentimes you get a real deep pullback right to where it came from. And that's why I wouldn't want to just jump into a long. I need to see it hold at 155. Otherwise, you could be $3 lower, man. And we see that happen all the time with the flash news. I'm going to continue to, I scalped again. We got a higher entry point because the wick high happened a little higher on Sava, but the same principle, just sort of take it out the first 75 cents inside of that buck. And then if it wants to come down, fair enough. I'm going to keep paying myself just because it is an upward trend. I do want to be able to respect that, the fact that it looks strong. And we talked about a lot of things breaking lows just now. I don't know if we mentioned that Tesla touched 285. So that even dollar is going to be respected again, like 285. It was 295 earlier. Tesla, like the other EVs, getting crushed to the downside. But it looks like it's caught a bit of a bid here. I usually like taking Tesla in the afternoons on some of these type of even longs. So 285 on the dime. If I see size there and the market's holding the lows, I might take a shot to scalp it. But remember, when you're scalping off of a level like this, you are really sometimes looking for like 85s to 86, 85.80, 86.50, like 50 cents to $1.50, $2. Those types of bounces are reasonable. So I will look for something like that off of 85 here this afternoon on Tesla.
Yeah, no, Tesla's been a good name there. I mean, you've been really hitting it on those EV spaces. So, I mean, we definitely like some of those names in the EV space, like we keep saying. I'm just, I'm still trying to focus on some of the similar names. AMD, like, it's a good thing we got out. Like, there's our out right there. But again, on a little bit of a pullback up, maybe we got to look at that 70 level here for AMD coming through. I mean, this was a great short that we just had on just before not just before, just as we came back. We put that on at 210 right there, and that just dumped in, and we got out when it broke through 50. I'm still always going to play like those even $50 levels. Like this is a 70-25 break, right? So I like to play quarters, evens, things like that. We do have Raider Trader coming back on, so maybe I'll ask him a little bit about strike prices and things like that because I know he trades options. But that's where like I like 70-25. I like 69.50. You know, look where this name bounced off of 69.15, so 69 bottom. So if you want to look at that, I like playing those kind of levels. So that's why when you talk about a Tesla and like a Tesla 300 this morning, I believe it was 300 this morning, wasn't it? Yeah. So like that 300 break right there, it did look like, look, it came down to it, it broke it ripped back up to 301 and then hasn't seen the light of day since then, right? So key levels all the time, pretty important. And there's Tesla's bouncing off right now, this 288. This is another level right there, 288. Like maybe we take that. It's also the 50 period. This could be a good long. If the market gets going right now, this break of Tesla, 288.20 or something right there, that could be, it's only 50 cents away. This could be the long that you like. So, watch out for that breaking on the Tesla long. And then again, a 288 break long could get you back, especially if the market rallies. The 200 period is $2. You could take $2 worth of risk back down there to the low of the day. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for, risk versus reward and whatnot when you're trading, right? So you got to make sure that those are always aligned. Like you don't want to go long on Tesla at 288 and then say, well, I'm not getting out until it breaks like 280 or something because you're just being stubborn about it. You have to say, if I'm right, how far will this name actually go up, right? So I think that VWAP and that level there of 292, that's $4. So if you're going to go long at 288, like the most risk you should put on your account is $4 because I'm not sure you're going to get back up to that 292. And then let's just say it rips to 292. Isn't that where you're going to get out? I mean, I would start to look at that chart and question myself, like, hey, like it's at 292. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I feel like I'd get out there. So you got to have the same kind of risk to reward when you're looking at these plays.
Yeah, that's 100% true. And I'll show you right now. I had that stop at the high of the day on Cassava Sciences. It got to 51.13, jailbreak to the upside, and then immediately rejected it. I did attempt to get it when it broke back below 50 to jump back in, wick top, get back into it. But it just completely catapulted to the downside. The next break was 49. So look, I missed the 50 breakdown. I'm not fast enough to get a stop order in. As a human being, I'm not going to get a stop order in that quick. But I was able to get a 49 breakdown, which I have scalped into 48 here. But this is, like, it's going to look like, yeah, but you had the high of the day. Why didn't you just give it some more room? Well, because some more room could have been 55, as I was saying before. And the same way that it snapped back $1, and I couldn't get the short at like 49.80. After it went down $1.20, I couldn't get that short. If it snaps to the upside, maybe you miss that top. Like if you try to hold it and have a manual area stop, like you might miss on your punch or you might mark it into a horrible price, which I don't ever want to do. So I'd rather give it up and try and re-enter the short. And if I have to miss out on some of the move, that's the cost of doing business as far as I'm concerned when you're trading some of these, which are going to be violent. So that continues to go down. You were just talking Tesla there. I wanted to get over, Chris just asked what made me go switch from shorts to long on Alphabet. It's this 150 cent level. Like this is, so look at Alphabet. 50. It's 50. That's instead of like saying 150 and everyone's like, it's not 150.
Yo, you better start rapping on that beat before 50 cent.
150.
You know that beat?
Oh, yo, Prad's beat.
First of all, it's not a beat, but you know that like intro?
Yo, turn my headphones up, son.
You better turn your headphones up on that one before 50 Cent starts taking that off for Prad.
Can we get, at some point, I don't, not to put you on the spot, Fog, it's just at some point this afternoon, can we get the beat? Because we need to hear it.
Let's hear it right now. I don't
know if he has it set up.
No, but I want Raider Trader to hear it. Okay, yeah, let's save it for Raider Trader.
Okay.
So I see him in the side there. I'm going to find out, because you know what, kids these days like hip hop and all that stuff. I want to see what he thinks about that.
I have an idea what he might say.
Yeah, I know, it's elevator music. I got that for hot, but let's not ruin it for
such a
everybody.
hater, man.
Let's wait. The beat's not that, it's not that good, but it's also not that bad.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's like trash.
I told Brad not to quit his day job, but the thing is like right now, like they're out playing ball. So my nickname that I've been giving Brad forever is Pradley Beal. So now you're going to see, because now he's going out there to play some ball.
Hold on a second.
So let's see if Pradley Beal.
I mean, hold on a second.
What Bradley Beal?
Bradley Beal's he's like a max level player.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I gave that to Prad because now he's out balling. But anyways, let's move on that one. All right. So
well, no, all I was going to say is it's just this resistance at 100,
Google, yeah.
150. And so the second it held this wick tops, it would not break. I was just telling myself, with the market weak and kind of testing lows, and I think a weak market, then I should be respecting resistance levels. I think in a down market, I give more credence to resistance than I do support. So in that case, if it's got resistance and I think it's strong, fair enough. I'm just going to go short. Would I take the long if it broke the high? Sure, but it hasn't broken the high, and it's refusing to do so. So that's why I like that short. And as we say, it's about to head to these lows. And now we get to see Andrew, Raider Trader, with Brendan, and we'll see if he likes that beat. Well, you know, I'm not gonna.
He may not.
I feel like we've biased him. If he's been hearing this, then
that's
he's
why
biased.
I didn't want to do this. That's why I didn't want Fahad to talk about it or anything like that. But hey, fun dude coming up.
We'll see.
It's Raider Trader time.
A Trader Pratt original. Raider Trader joins us once again. Great guest. One of our favorites joining us once again to have a discussion on a few things that have happened this week. Great to see you as always. It's been an interesting couple of days. I mean, let's not beat a dead horse. Obviously, yesterday was a significant event for the overall market. How'd you look at it? How'd you play it? What are you looking at right now?
Yeah, so I love the macro picture, as you guys know, to kind of scope in on those smaller time frames. Give me a plan, day to day, week to week, month to month. Give me some outlooks like that. So, I mean, if you want to share my chart here, I actually do have. We kind of updated the chart a little. Obviously, with something so significant as the Fed, we kind of make these scenarios. Two scenarios. What are we looking for? The white line is indicated as our most desirable outlook for the market. We still expect weakness over the next few weeks as the seasonals are matching into the end of September, and we're getting that weakness coming in back into the market as of the Fed. And so having that, we're expecting 350, 340, somewhere around there to be the bottom. Now, why do I say this? What do you want to look for, and what are we watching? Market bottoms. If we do set a new low in the markets here, this will guarantee that over the next 3 to 5 years that we're not going to set a new low, and this is likely to be the bottom for the S&P 500. Now, that is obviously if we do set a new low. If we don't, and the scenario 2 plays out, then we're looking at the recession in 2023. First quarter is when we're trying to time it. That will be the new lows in the market. So you want to watch financials. Financials are the number one thing that you want to watch. If the market sets a new low and financials hold, that's a big indication to us as traders that yes, this market wants to go higher, and that opens up the door for Goldman Sachs and all those banks and small caps to start longing.
Yeah, you took the next question right out of my mouth here. Where do we go then? If you want to dig into the financial sector, I know you like looking at ETFs as well. Is there one or two that you can pass along to the audience for the financial sector that you think is an opportunity?
Yeah, so definitely Goldman and then XLF. If you guys want to play cheaper contracts, if you're an options trader, swing trader, whatever, XLF is the one to watch. That's just the overall general financial sector. But specifically, if you do want to play the long side on those, anything small cap is really going to be favorable on these bounces and the longer time frame there. So that's when you guys start to get into those AMCs, those Roblox, start to play those longs and hit those growth names, as those small caps with the market rotations are going to get the most juice on this big rally up, hopefully to 460 by mid-March.
Andrew, more important topics. I wanted to discuss your layout here in your workstation there, because the last time we had you on, I had multiple people message me directly and say, get him to tell us about his layout and his workstation. You're clearly standing, so talk a little bit about the way you approach the market every day and what you look at.
Absolutely. I love standing. I was a big culprit of sitting for a while until I realized that just sitting promoted me to fall asleep. In fact, I'm too active to be sitting these days. And I even moved my desk from my bedroom at one point in my life before I moved out to eventually stop working next to my bed. I had to get my whole mind into a separate office and do that. So as far as my workstation, got my Discord over here. This is where I'm updating, posting information. We're going through information as a team, as a family. I'm going through, options flow data, looking at screeners, stuff like that. Up here, I just have a charts reference. I throw ETFs up here, look at stuff. And then right here is my main workstation where I'm normally charting, or I'm going through information, doing work on the side, like writing emails and stuff like that. And I do have a fourth monitor over here, but you can't see it. So I have a 4-monitor setup. I think it's great for me. You have to fool around with some computer parts, but this is definitely worth it for me.
All right, before we bring in the guys here, I want to get your opinion on what today means, because I've seen a lot of people write about, the calm after the storm, and is that significant in the fact that, at the end of the day yesterday, we were wondering, do we get another down day today coming off of the sell-off that we saw post-Fed yesterday? It ends up being kind of a nothing, almost inside day here. What do you think? Is this constructive overall? And if so, where do we go next?
Yeah, so definitely, we still expect weakness. Next 2 weeks, end of September, first week of October. Not until mid-October can we really start to see bullishness. We can expect a relief rally one of these days, obviously, but definitely be looking short. If you guys do want to share my screen as well, we're talking about that Apple. We're still short Apple. I was talking about longing anything under 156 was really the ideal trade. And you can see Apple once again showing that weakness. So large caps are not, they're not holding. They're going to continue to struggle. So if you want to short, if you want to get into these names off these bounces, try to go short software. These ones are going to get hammered as they were the laggards. They're going to keep getting hammered. So trades like tickers like NET, Cloudflare, and then PanW were also short, up a few 100% on that as well.
I lied, Andrew. One more question from me. I did get another question from a viewer that wanted to pass along to you, and that was in regards to breaking news. We had obviously a number of situations over the past couple of weeks where stocks have made a big, huge move intraday or maybe in the pre-market after significant news. And I want to go to FedEx because we get FedEx earnings out here this afternoon before the market even closes, after what happened last week. So as an options trader, and this was their question, as an options trader, how do you deal with those kind of situations with breaking news intraday?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, with the FedEx trade, who could have guessed? We were in the trade getting puts. Those went 12,300%. Now, I actually sold, but Zach, of course, added somehow at the end of his trade. But as far as breaking news with that, the way we handle it as options traders is oftentimes news can conflict with options premiums, and they will skyrocket both the IV, which is the implied volatility, as well as the premiums to make them very expensive. So overall, it's very, very hard to play options oftentimes after news. So getting in before is a big combination of luck and your game plan before. We were playing earnings, and of course, there was luck with that involved. But as far as playing after news, breaking news, the options premiums, you could have one day where the prices are doubled, premiums are very expensive, implied volatility kills you because you could still get a huge move up and not make barely anything. So it's very hard to play news as an options trader. That's why we try to, if we get news against us in a trade, then we get out. There's not much we can do. The idea breaks down and so forth.
So Andrew, look, I have to ask you this because you just mentioned options, and B, like when you were saying, okay, look to those financials for the leading indicator, and then go to the beat up names that give you some juice, right? So, in talking about how that might play out next year, you mentioned a couple of things. One of them was Roblox. That was one I was kind of looking for as something like when it makes a relief rally, it's got a ton of upside. But the question becomes, how do you want to play that? Are we just talking about going in and when you get that indication that the financials are doing that hold that you wanted to have happen? Do you just go in and buy the equity? Would you try to get ahead of it at any point by playing options? Maybe going out in front, and then on top of that, what's the duration? Like, how long do you think any relief rally can last next year, right? Because the indications that we could maybe be getting rates down at some point, maybe in early 2024. Are you talking about a long swing or just catch a short bounce? Because March to the end of 2024, that's a long time frame for any potential rally for these to go. And I don't really think anyone expects a Roblox to go back to 140. But there's certainly, from here, it could go 4x before it goes to 140. There's a lot of upside there. So how more specifically, if you can, would you look to play this? It doesn't have to be on this name. I just mean in general.
Yeah, so definitely great questions. As far as how I handle these, a lot of our trades regarding these small caps and stuff, what we do is we set expectations for each move. So do we expect Roblox to go to 140 like you said? Probably not. But can we get into names, software names like NVIDIA and some of these other growth names that do have potential to run a lot more? Yes, we can do that. And those will be the longer time frame trades. Now, if we're going to get into Roblox and we do expect rallies coming in the next few months, well, then we're going to time it with the market, obviously. And once we get into an area where Roblox or some of these large caps start to we're in the trade, they start to show weakness on these resistance levels. In this case, we expect the rally up to 460 coming into to mid-March. What we can expect is that, hey, look, we're already in this trade. We've made this much. Whether on Roblox, it was a big bounce, 200, 300%. Do we expect a pullback? If we expect a pullback, sure, let's trim some size. If that pullback happens and we see another pullback or more weakness in the Roblox, then that means the trade idea is breaking down. But of course, we don't sell unless we have to. So if Roblox is running and it does go to $400 or $140, then we don't sell unless if we see weakness. So the idea is here, we're not timing prices, we're not targeting prices, we're targeting structure and weakness in the market. And when we see that, we get out. When we don't, we stay in.
So much for that, Andrew. We love having you as a guest, and like this will be more of a comment than anything else that I want to sort of end out here. First thanking you for all the advice that you do give, because no one has to come on here and give advice and put themselves out there, and you do. But someone in the chat just said, and I love when someone calls me a gray hair. It's true, I got gray hair. They're like, how come this gray hair is asking this young kid for advice? Because I'm a trader, and I'll learn from anybody that wants to give sound advice and smart advice. Whether you take it or not is up to you, but we can all learn from anybody. And if you're not humble enough to learn, it doesn't matter who it is, what their background might be. If you have something smart to say, you should always want to be able to listen, because even if you have different perspectives out there, you can always find some way to take that information, adapt it to your style, or learn to grow. That's why we have you on here, Andrew. That's why we want to continue to have you on, despite the fact that you don't have any gray hair, and then for that reason don't necessarily fit in with us here. But I don't know if I thought we wanted to get you to hear this. I don't know if we can do this, Fahad. But like Trader Prat was our midday show. There was a lot of talk about him creating a beat for me to rap on, apparently. And he did create something, and you're a little younger, so I was kind of curious what you thought about it. So if we can, Fahad, if you can play it, just give us your unabridged thoughts on this beat.
All right, I'm listening. Oh, word. Oh, nah.
So look. Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Dropped a beat.
Okay, radio trader opinion might be valid, might be not, might be canceled. I think you could maybe write a poem to it, but maybe rapping it might need a little bit of more aggressive beat in there. But
there we go.
I might write a poem to it later if you guys want me to.
There we go.
I think, to be honest, like
I mean, Raider Trader, he's got the good,
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and that's a very nice way to say it. Like, it's true, but it never drops. There's never a point where you can come in.
When do I come in with the fire?
Yeah,
there's no spot there, but it's a chilled out vibe there. Mr. Raider Trader, thank you so much for coming by. But there was one thing that you mentioned last time that you said you'd be dropping some pizza down with pineapple.
So actually, next week I have an opportunity where I'm gonna bring an entire pineapple pizza, and we're gonna eat it live on stream and talk about stocks. So if you guys are in favor of that, then feel free to follow them. Trader TV. We're gonna be back here next Wednesday at the same time. It's Thursday, but next Wednesday 2:45. And I might have. I just bought this 48 pack of Pop-Tarts.
Is that Costco? Is that Costco?
It is Costco. Yep. Costco.
You like that stock, or what are you saying about that one?
Costco guys.
Are you all right there, bro?
Long in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, he likes it in 2 weeks.
Right?
Yep.
What was up with that coughing there? Is everything okay?
You all right?
Or what was...
you know, there's just been a lot of birds flying in the air. The little ones telling me little information. So things like this chart and whatnot, you know, just
Okay.
to look out for. Just to look out for.
Okay, we got you. We got you. All right. Raider Trader, thank you so much. I really did like that TikTok or Instagram, whatever that was, where you put it out, where you had me on there, and I want to really thank you for that, because I think that that's the truth, right? I mean, I don't know if you saw us trading FOMC. I know you're busy, but we are them, right? And you are them as well. So it's about trying to get the word out there that we're actually making real trades with real capital, and not just saying like, oh, I just made $14.8 million on this 30-cent stock. So that's really important. And I want to thank you for coming on. It's 3 o'clock. We're going to hit the power hour. Thank you, Mr. Raider Trader. Peace. All right.
Drop the beat.
There it is. Oh, there he goes. He gone.
Hey-o.
He gone. What's up? Yeah, character there. Raider Trader, thank you so much about that. And I think what you said was true, though, right? Like, no matter the age, no matter what, you got to respect good opinions there. We're here to learn. And that's, if you stop learning, then you've stopped doing everything, basically.
You stop living.
Right? So,
stop living.
Live them life.
You got to live and learn, and no one knows that joint, but that's actually a good song. It was, what's it? It was like,
You've got to live and learn.
Oh, that's going to bug me.
What is that?
It's not Portrait.
It's just such a wholesome song.
Show something.
Live and learn. I'll have to look that up.
I'll look at, whatever. That's
it's a
Kid 90s song.
I saw Kid and Play the other day. I mean, it's so funny because we're just so old. I wonder what, like people thinking like, oh, what we looked like when we were like
I just
in our
lean
20s.
right into it, man. It's
I was
fine.
like, what the Kid and Play looked a little whack to me there. But okay, good song there. Thank you so much to everybody. I'm just living single. No, In Living Color was the best show back there in the 90s. So look up In Living Color if you want to get that. But okay, Joe Public.
Joe Public. That's
it.
That is.
Yep,
Joe Public.
He got it on there. So thank you again to Raider Trader one more time for stepping up. That was a real fun thing there. I think I'm going to tell Liz. Liz, if you're watching this, Liz, clip that. We'll tweet that out. That was really fun, man, when we had our sunglasses on and we were chilling with those jams with Raider Trader.
Look, if you start with that and then we get something on after,
that's what I mean.
It's
got to be added to.
It's a great intro. Yeah. I really do think it's a great intro. I didn't realize that Pratt had some skills like that. So let's figure it out. So Tesla's bouncing without me. We'll get back to trading here because I wanted 85. We're now back up to almost 289. The market is bouncing to the upside. So let Google, Alphabet. It's Alphabet. Right back, and it just finally took. It only took all day long, but it just broke that 150. So 150 cents just broke up. So I did get one short right in front of it again because I've been reloading it a couple of times. But now I'm going to work the long. If it wants to break this high, I'm going to take it to the upside. But that I'm still in Cassava Sciences. I don't necessarily think it matters that the market goes higher for Cassava Sciences. I just think it's failing 50 and it's up 30%. And the stock was like $20-something a couple weeks ago. I want to play it back into VWAP. But let's go market. We're breaking back to the upside. Finally, some opportunity for the longs to work.
Yeah. Oh, not finally. Today, all my money's been made on the longs. It's just I don't have any right now. Big long in Meta. And it's just so stupid because I was bidding 50s here. And honestly, it never came. It went to 60, and that's when it was just minutes ago. We had this trade, and then it just ripped up to the upside. You might have seen me flashing in and out of Amazon there. We did make a decent play on the bottom there. Shorted 38s, got them out here, 20s, 25s. So at most, we got 13, 14 cents on the bids, and then it ripped up, and we got taken out there once it broke through 50. So just short and out. And then out on the last piece. So it will be a net loser on that last little bit there. But so far, so good on Amazon today. Microsoft is, again, another name. Look at Softy. Like, these bids today, boom, 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 boom. And it just keeps going up to that upside. So Microsoft, again, today, catching that bid, man. The big caps up 1.5% against NASDAQ, still down. I want to look at AMD maybe for a short. AMD's been down a lot, down 7% right here. So I think this one could be shorted for sure, up to that 720 area, kind of where we took that. So I'm going to be short. I'm going to go short right now on AMD. Just look, it's a big bump up. We could take some shares. We'll take some shares there at 93 on that. So we'll take that up to watch that 200 period right there. We've taken out the 50. I'm going to go short AMD until back into here, 70.20. We'll zoom in a little bit for you. Just back into this area where we went short initially. essentially, look, there's the short and there's the out. So that's 80 cents. Let's see if we can do that again. I don't know about 80 cents, but even if this just retraces back here, that's 20 cents. We could get that in a couple minutes or 1 minute back down in. So let's take that trade for AMD. What is that bid? That bid right here is 73. So let's put something at 75. We'll see if we can take quickly right now. We'll quickly take 20 cents or so on that short. But again, you know, we're giving it up to 70.25. So I need to take more. It needs to fall back down here. Let's see if the market wants to get going here for AMD. But I mean, we just punched it. It's 10 cents if you want it right now. We're going to wait to see a little bit lower here for AMD. But there it is, man. There's 10 cents for you right away.
Yeah, the short I'm actually going to favor is going to, oddly enough, be in Tesla because, you know, the previous level that I liked on the daily was at 89 to 290 area, so 289 to 290, and we're right inside of that pocket. Now, I do have the long in Google, so it's not a hedged position or anything like that, but I am long in Google, so I want something relatively strong breaking highs, and I want to fade something which is at a resistance level. So I like Tesla for that. I think this move to the upside is going to give me a chance to get into some Rivian short. This has been falling essentially all day long. I'll zoom in because I have nothing since 2:30, since before 10:30. I won't show up on my chart, but I'm going to take the roll here in Rivian as that also gets up to the high. I've liked the EVs for the short side, but none more so than Rivian. So as it finally gives a bit of a pop, I'm going to take a chance to be able to fade this on RIVN. So Tesla, Rivian. I'm still in Cassava Sciences. How's that one doing over there? You know, we had this a couple of times, well, several times on the short. It's still working in the money, but I want this fading into VWAP. Like the last out, I want to be taking a couple of dollars on this one because this has so much room to fall back down. Even if it didn't break the trend, it could still fall a couple of bucks.
All right, hit it. There it is. Alert, alert, alert. We just took that money on AMD. We take a dime, then we take 20. And now let's just wait to see again another one right there. So Prad's going to be DJ Khaled with the beats, albeit with the trades, man. Another one right there. So we'll go slap a fail on AMD, but not on the trade at all. Big short there, out. Big short here and out. Another one short again for AMD. Look, they could still rip up. We're taking profits. Let's just try to scalp it out. Look at the NASDAQ right now, taking out intraday highs. Not since the beginning of the day, but the intra-afternoon highs, I guess, right there, 11,600. Let's see if that is going to be one that we can sort of hold our hat on. We're going to be short until 70.25 on AMD, Brendo.
FedEx trying to get going here once again as well. Back to the upside. A little bit of volume came back in there. Trying to get back to 157.5. A little more detail on this report here, guys. 5% increase in quarterly revenue quarter over quarter. So the numbers themselves actually not as bad as they, I guess, said last week, first of all, but we're expecting overall. Down here, net profit fell to 875 million or 333 per share from 1.1 or 409. That was also not as bad as expected. So a little bit more volume there for FedEx.
Yeah, it looks like FedEx, and again, you know, maybe not wanting to trade a little bit too blind there is why I wouldn't have snapped into this when it held 155. But maybe that's come and gone. I think maybe long's in front of that 55. If it does want to do this sort of upward channel, might make some sense. The market is bouncing to the upside. I feel like you can give a little bit of this credit to FedEx. We weren't really going until we got those numbers, so I'll give them a little bit of credit. But I'm going to step in front of that 55. It did make a low at 154.50. So, you know, that can be a nice little out there at that bottom. But if this one's come and gone, it'll happen to you. I didn't want to trade it blind, and I'm going to defend that. It's just not something that I like doing, where you're just only going on technicals when they just release their numbers, right? I don't know if that's the right way to go about it. Google's sort of barcoding off that 150, which leads me to believe that the shorts are going to end up being good. Like we just rolled into Tesla. That's starting to check up here at 289. And then Rivian as well. You're starting to see after that spike up, you know, you're not really extending, so another weak name, just sort of using that opportunity to short something when you got that chance for a spike. I don't know if we talked about you're in AMD, so
yeah.
Nvidia here, which NVIDIA's been I don't know if is it down more than AMD? No, actually.
Yes, it was.
I thought it was down more than AMD.
It's not anymore,
No,
though.
so
It
it's not.
was when we looked at it earlier, but not
Yeah,
any
decent bounce, I guess.
more. Maybe these chip names do have some legs in them
you
here.
tell.
So I'm already out a little bit. I should have maybe got out of some more. I'm waiting for 60s for AMD here. So let's hold out that we can get those, but I'm not sure if we can. But one person that's always got the good stuff is Brendan at the desk.
Another one just popping up, guys. That electric boat maker, Forza, a recent addition to the NASDAQ here. Started going early on this morning, remember, got all the way up to 290 on heavy volume, but just popped up once again back to 250 here for FRZA.
All right, I'll look at that because I did see that there was some volume on FRZA today. Electric boat maker, eh? Oh, by the way, did you see Air Canada bought like 35 electric planes?
Yeah.
They look pretty cool. They're like little jumpers and stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like pond jumpers and things. Like, so you just take them maybe from like YYZ to JFK or something like that there. So yeah, I thought those were pretty cool for sure. You guys might not know, YYZ is here in Toronto. Yeah, Pearson International Airport there. But okay, here's FRZA. Again, I like the technology. I just want to ask you a question. Would you get into a plane that was just only electric? I don't know. I feel like that's a little risky, but hey, I mean, maybe it has a backup. It probably has a backup. There it is right there. Yeah, look how great that looks.
Yeah,
so, you know, I think that looks pretty cool. Like I said, little pond jumper for some quick.
That? I would. I think
I mean, if you're traveling from like one European country to the other and you want to do it quickly, I'm not sure of the mileage on it, but thanks, Fahad. That's what it looks like.
I do it.
I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that there. All right, so just FRZA again. I don't know, like, was there an offering or something? Because this one was all the way up at 14, 15, 16. Obviously, that's on the IPO day, it looks like. And since then, it's just made a nice little move to the downside. So FRZA, I would just be careful with it. Not too much volume happening right now, obviously. But yeah, just one of those levels there. I think electric planes and boats and all that are the future. I think it'd be crazy to deny that, but I don't know. For now, I think you got to wait a little bit. I don't like any of these names. There's no way these guys, I don't know enough about them, so I don't want to talk bad if you guys own the shares, but I just wonder about, you know, in this environment, do we want companies that don't make money? I would say no. So
not for long term.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe this is a long-term play. And again, without talking too much about their product, FRZA, good one for volume, but you could see, actually, you can't see. Hold on, let me put that right there. You can see the volume right here. That's really died off. I mean, it's doing nothing right now. So we'll pick this back up when the volume starts going crazy again.
So I got to do this because, I mean, Tesla just broke. I was going to give it $1, but then we extended out on the futures a little bit here. And once we started churning through these levels, you know, you're starting to get a little bit of a bigger push to the upside. I'm going to hang on to some of that Google because I think if we can start taking out this resistance, 1164, there's a chance that you can get a more decent sized bump here. The ES starting to run into resistance as well. And when that accelerated, it's like, I don't need to be short both Tesla and Rivian, so I'll put a tight stop on Tesla. Whereas Rivian, I feel like it's been the weaker name. I'm just going to use my 15-minute chart for Rivian so you can actually see the whole day. Yeah, it's just been in a much bigger trend to the downside, a lot weaker of a stock, at least from what I can say. And this little pop is respecting this level. So I'm going to pick Rivian to stay in here. I'm in Ford, but I haven't really added to it recently, so I'm talking about something that I've been in a little bit more recently. So Google's starting to work back into that upside. I did want to look at Meta because that's been relatively strong. It can't seem to break out these highs, but I think going back to the well will be respecting this 143 on Meta. Like, it was resistance all morning long, and right now it just broke out from there. I think buying the dips on Meta is going to make sense. It's up, it's strong. If I'm going to something to add to Google, Meta's going to make some sense to me. I don't know if we get the dip buy, but if these shorts come in, then I think we're going to have a chance to at least get VWAP here. And if I want to pick something up at VWAP, I'm going to go with Meta on any kind of a dip. Just to check back in on Cassava Sciences, you know, it's still sort of going sideways, but that's going sideways now after a couple of failures through 50. A lot of times that's going to mean it's going to flush back in. The volume's tapering down. That can favor that it's going to flush. But I want to have something on board for the bigger move to the downside here on Sava.
Remember I said about, and again, like we don't, you know, I'm short here, AMD. I'm looking to get more short, obviously. But we talked about Tesla there right before you went to Trader, and I was like, you know what? If you break this 288, you know, you should be able to get to 290. Well, there it is right there. That's $2. So we'll go like that. We don't have the trade, but if anybody took that, I think that was well worth it right there for anybody to get out now as you're touching that period there at 290. So that's the 200 period. That's a good little trade there for Tesla on that break. A nice little move to the upside. Unfortunately, we have that wick right here that I'm going to have to edit to make that chart look a little more attractive for you. But all right, we almost got short AMD. I mean, I'm waiting at 10s for this trade. It only went up to as far as 03, 04 there. Here it comes. Hopefully it will come in there. And then we're going to wait for that level to break right there on AMD, which it might just do that. I mean, it might just rip up there and take that out. I don't know. As this gets closer and closer, I'm going to switch my out, man. If it breaks 20s, we'll get out now. That's looking to be pretty, pretty juicy there on that price. So I'm going to have to watch out for AMD as we're going to get more short. Now we're short into AMD, so let's watch out for that trade as it's starting to go back up to the upside. AMD, new position, same position, but short. We're going to give that to about 70. Well, we'll still go 26s. Has to break a little bit higher than this, but the market is definitely on a rip right now. So just be careful with all of these shorts for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching NVIDIA get right up to its resistance. So we're going to, I actually thought at one point NVIDIA was weaker than AMD. I know it's not true, but it's the same kind of thing. We've been going down all session. You had this afternoon 127 resistance. It's at VWAP as well. I look over at this and I say, okay, do I like this or do I like Intel? Intel's kind of breaking out from that 28 quarter area. So it's a little bit too strong. It's weird to say. And it's also only down 0.5%, right? So it hasn't had the same volatility. So as much as I said today I would be shorting Intel, I got to look over at this NVIDIA. It's right at the level I was looking for, which is 127. I've added to Rivian because I decided to get out of Tesla and then go to Rivian, which I think has been a weaker stock. So I've added to that short. Brendan?
It's super strong here so far this afternoon. 31% for beat on top of that. Convenient. $2 here held throughout the midday. This was that company that came out with that device that apparently can detect heart attacks if you're having a heart attack, I guess. So beat trying to get back to the upside.
All right, not getting back to the upside. Let's go right now, man. There's AMD. Like I told you, when we're on one, we're on one. And there is AMD, man. Another one. You know, like we can have multiple beats, but I'm going to have multiple trades coming through for you right now. Look at that, man. Boom. Right down there to the downside on AMD. I'm just going to start putting some bids out and getting out of this one. There we go, man. This is scalping. This is what we're doing here. Every single day, I'm going to try to scalp in and out of these trades, especially into the afternoon where we've identified possible weaknesses in trend and things like that. So let's see if AMD can make its move back in. No more bids. I have a bid at 93 right now to capture that 20 cents or 17 cents. Let's see if we can get that. And again, it's not like these are monster trades. It's just like we're just really picking them. I said the out was 70.25. Like that was basically the high. Again, if we went a little more specific, we could have had a better price on the short. But hey, man, that's for me. I mean, I'll take this all day. All we're really doing right now is stacking it up. It's 316, 315 right now. So there we go, Neil. Another one coming in for AMD. We talked about them versus NVIDIA. I don't think it mattered, obviously. Any one of these chip names probably heading to the downside. Why? I mean, I'll take a 97 now. That just stopped at 95. So very, very interesting. I'm going to fix my order. Now I'm feeling like this may get stopped out if it continues to go up. But again, now I only have a third left as I keep getting out of these as it comes back in. So we only have a third left. There we go. Take that 97. Give it to us right there. There it is, a breakthrough 97. We're out. So now we can hold the rest of this. Now we're holding that last third of the trade. So we'll see if it pulls back down. Last third of the trade on this one. Pretty happy with the performance here today. Again, we're going to be at a great spot for us. I don't know if it's going to be my best day in September, but it'll be close right now. So let's watch out. We just haven't messed up today yet. So knock on wood. But I'm just trying to play the same thing I do every single day, but just adding layers, right? Adding layers, getting better, using more shares at key levels, doing things like that. That's what it's all about. If you're not learning and growing with us here, I feel like many of you are. We've had so many great tweets and Instagram posts and everything really sort of saying exactly that. And to me, that's what it's all about. So there's another, I mean, AMD, we shorted there, we shorted there, we shorted there. And then look at Amazon, right? Like we take no damage on this. Why? Because instead of shorting it as it's ripping up, we waited. We waited for key levels here, right? And then once those levels broke, then we got that out of dodge right there, right? That's part of it. Like, look at what we do when we win. Look what we do when we win and when we lose, right? So that's the difference in my game right now. Just trying to get better at all of this. And honestly, man, like, even though I've been doing this for 21 years, still learning something every single day, and proud to be doing it right in front of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. And I just want to quickly show you something on the futures, because sometimes, whether you trade the futures or not, you want to pay attention to what's going on. The NASDAQ, I was showing you guys this support from early in the morning, and then it turned into resistance at the open at the 116.50 area. So we just broken to the upside, and then you get this little wick above, and as it starts to fail, I'm looking over at the name that I wanted off a resistance level, that VWAP here on NVIDIA, and it puts a wick top. So that's my entry point. I'm looking at the futures. If we're holding above that line, I don't really love the entry there, but it does give that failure. Now, I've only taken one piece out and would like to hold for at least a little bit more closer to 126 than to 125.80. But that entry looks like it's going to be sound, at least for now. But Google to the long side, or at least Alphabet to the long side, it might have just rejected 101. Got up to 198 cents at the same time that wick high. I want to give this some room because it's so relatively strong. A lot of times I'd be considering just get out of this, but I've already scalped out of this trade, so I want to see if we can hold. I want some exposure to the long if we continue higher, and Google is in that bucket of relative strength that I see. Brendan?
I was just reading about this CANO, Humana apparently with a deal for CANO halted right now. OSH also moving on this. So this is CANO halted, as I mentioned. Humana apparently, HUM interested in them. OSH, another one catching quite the bump here off of this news. Going to read a little more on this, but have a look at OSH. CANO, though, the halt.
Robinson Cano has been halted.
He's retired.
Yeah, I know. I just saw CANO there. Okay, let's just get one out. I mean, AMD just pulled right back down. Let's go, man. This is what we're doing. Like, it's too bad we do the trade of the day earlier. But right there, AMD, just hit, boom, right back down to that 50 period right there. So again, a nice little move on that one. I don't know if you have anything on Cano there, but that's a nice little move down for AMD. And I'm just going to keep sitting here and watching these names as the NASDAQ's pulled back down. I really feel like now we had a third on, so we take a little bit off. Now we have, I guess, 30%, but I'm still liking this play. I think we get a move down even further here for AMD. Let's see if we can take down some of those bottoms, man. You're weak today, down 6%. You're already at 52-week lows. If we follow the same path that we did today, AMD could be up tomorrow. Remember, you saw what we said there about Microsoft, Meta, Google, all that. Now things are starting to pull back, but those names did have runs in them today after hitting 52-week lows. So here we go. AMD is now clearly through the 52-week low. It was 71 before AMD, right? So there it is right there. Now that chart's going to be not great, but there it is right there. That was the 52-week low back in June. We're now I'm going to say we're well below it. We're $2 below it right now. So a nice little move down. Look at AMD, man. Absolutely destruction in all of these plays. So crazy.
Someone just said, what's the word on Cathie Wood? I don't know. I feel like there was a bit of a relief at one point yesterday, and today probably having at least a little bit of pain there. But I don't think the jury's out. Like, you have to remember, Cathie Wood, admittedly, and she self-admits, it's like long-term time frame. Like, I don't think she gives maybe she does, and probably she does at least a little bit, these fluctuations day to day. But if you're looking out 5 years, you probably shouldn't be that focused on the little minutia of day to day. I am not. It's not about being concerned about this, but randomly here at 47.5 on Cassava Sciences, it's catching a bid. But I say that's random, and I look at what happened the last time we were in this price range, and it did hold up for quite a while in this range. But I think it's on the downside after those couple of wicks up. So I'm going to still give it room to VWAP. I wouldn't say you go long here. I think it's a little bit tricky, but it's not a horrible place if you're looking at a 47 stop. The risk reward isn't really all that bad. I just feel that it's heading back into the downside. So I'm going to continue to hold on to that short. I, like you, got out some more of that a little closer to 126 on NVIDIA as it looks like it's checking back up. But good news on Alphabet. It's actually held this top. It looked like it was about to really flush back in, and it kind of held up and checked up. The market is coming back down. The question becomes, can it hold at 150? I want to give it to break even because I want something to that long side. If it breaks out 101, I want to have something on board here, but I'm going to have a break-even stop on this. I am long at 52, so maybe not break-even. Like, I guess I'll lose 5 cents on it, because if it breaks 150, I'll throw my stop at that price, but I still want to ride some of these shorts. I got into that. Like I said, I got Rivian. It's still going a little bit sideways, trying to crack out VWAP. Could not take out resistance. It's grinding back into the downside. And Tesla, that did come back in. So, you know, looking for reasons why Rivian can work. Tesla rejected 290, starting to come back down. That, Ford, both failing down here. I think we talked a little bit about Apple, but I didn't want to ignore FedEx. If you remember, at least some credit might be due to FedEx and that pop that we had in the market. That's starting to grind back down here. So that test to 155 looks like it's incoming. I think if it takes out this recent low, 154, it looks like 60, not 50. Then I wouldn't want any longs in front of it. But I'm going to hold something down at that 155 if it gets there, and I'll use that as a bit of a litmus test. If we break that recent low on FedEx, I might be giving up on some of the longs. Feels like some of the euphoria did come from them.
All right. Here's Kano. It opened back up there again. Humana and Kano, both potential buyers circling around. Humana is circling around Kano. So they're the ones that are going to, possibly get targeted up 30%. I'd say a healthcare deal would be like, probably 50 to 60% or so as a premium. So I would look to somewhere around there and just look at the past resistance up here. So we resisted it at $9 already a couple times. And then today on the reopen, there it is right there, the halt. Then the reopen up big time for CANO as it keeps on going. So you could watch out for that. I mean, this short rate in there for 9,885, something like that. You might want to watch it. But you know what, man? Whatever, like you guys know what I trade. Look at AMD. I mean, there it is, coming back in again. This is a 35-cent win here for AMD as it's starting to pull back down. So, we just continue to short the weak names. We're staying very, very focused, very, very disciplined on this trade. I'm going to put another bid at 72, see if we can get that. There it is. So it just runs us right over and just continues to make that move down. So once again, man, boom, the shorts are coming in here for us on AMD. So another successful move here in the afternoon for us. There it is, man. It's 325. I may put nothing else on. I mean, I got this trade on right now, and it's a banger, so I don't have anything else looking for. I was looking at maybe, and again, it's the same names, and I'm sorry about it, but I'm going to stick with these. AMD, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft. I mean, today it's been great. Amazon, wow, that went to 118.50, eh? So that went right back to where I should have sniped that. I should have sniped that short right there and then given it to 18.50, but it only went to 18.20. We should have hit that, coinciding with these highs earlier. That's a missed opportunity. Fine. I mean, whatever. We have AMD, but that was a missed opportunity. And then look at the difference here. Same shares, right, as AMD and Amazon. Because for me, the price doesn't matter. I mean, it matters for the risk, like for sure. The higher the price stock, like Tesla, $300 name, a 1% move is going to be triple that than a 1% move on Google, which is only 100%, $100 name. But for me, whatever the risk, I use that at the same. So this one, again, a 12-cent hit on Amazon. And then you're going to look at the name that we have right here, AMD, where you're, well in the money now. I mean, this actually is not even that much in the money. 70.10 down to 69.70. It's not like this is a crazy trade. It's just it's really fallen down for us there. And that's why I'm saying you got to take the amount of shares where you're comfortable. And if you have an out, that can sort of mentally help you prepare for how much of a loss it might be. And then we deal with the wins as it comes in. So there it is again, man. We had a super exciting day yesterday. And I almost feel like just because it's more calm, and that's it. Look, yesterday was chaos, basically. Today, much more calm. You could see how we're trading. We had the long yesterday off Fed. We had the short yesterday off Fed. And man, that was fun. When you go home and can celebrate, that's the best. And we do that yesterday, and we're going to do that again here today. I'm actually up more money today than yesterday. So just to let you guys know, that's kind of how trading works, right? You take it from one day to the next. We get paid every single month, so it just rolls through. So whatever I make yesterday, today, it's combined into one. As long as we're green, we're doing some good things.
Yeah, on a prop floor, just to maybe continue on that for a brief second, on a prop floor, you get paid out based on your month, right? So it adds up that month. It's not that it really matters. I think some people, I like to judge by quarters because I'm old. Like, older I get, it's like the longer time frame you look at. I think that's how some people look at things. But I wanted to add on one last thing. You talked about a 60% premium, potentially. I will say, like, when 1M was bought, They paid up big time. The average price, the premium was almost like 80 to 85% if you took like an average of the last couple of months. And that was one of the last deals that did happen. So it is realistic. I'm not saying that if deal happens, that's how big it can be, but just giving a very, very recent example in the space. So holding on to some shorts here. One of them still on the daily chart. One of them, of course, was Rivian. That's starting to roll back over. It just failed VWAP. I just got some out in the 60s. I got another bet in front of 33.50. We'll hold this one if it retakes those lows. NVIDIA continues to work to the downside. That's another short we just grabbed there. I still think it can head back down to 125. I've got Ford for the morning. Who cares about that? Well, actually, whatever. I did want Ford. If Ford had popped, still in the New York, and once you hit it wrong one time, I give it a second. Give it a second. So Rivian came to VWAP and gave me the entry point. Ford never really got high enough to re-enter the trade, but it is working down. I have to respect the fact that it doesn't want to break the low, so I should get on the bid in front of 75s and 80s, back into that downside. And NVIDIA, that one's going to be okay. And Cassava Sciences, it's still going sideways here. And bounced off of that 47.50. So remember, he said, like, I like the short. I want to give it some room. I want to play it into VWAP, but it's not the worst idea if you grab the long in front of 47. I think you're taking something out here and paying yourself to 50 just because it's failed 50 several times. And I think that's that price. If it fails 50, I want to be net short the stock. So I'm going to be in it as long as it's below that price. And every time it makes a failure through that price, I want to jump back into the short side of said trade. However, if all of those shorts came back in, I said I'd have a break even on Google. Wick tops and wick bottoms work both ways, right? So I just got wicked out, and it looks like a bit of a wick bottom in Google. When I see that happen to me, my first thought is I want to be back into the trade. But I'm going to be a little bit patient here because it's already jumped away from my price. Too late. I'd be paying up too far away for what I think is a reasonable entry.
All right, and as you guys may or may not have noticed there, we're going to go another one. We'll spin it one more time. We got out there. We only have a very, very small piece left. We have that 10% mark again left. So it took out the 50 period right there, AMD. So there's the out. I mean, you see me do that all the time. We got out at 81 there as it's starting to rip back up to the upside. So, I mean, we have our targets, man. And if it comes out, we'll lose. We'll lose on the last little bit. But look at all of these outs. That's why you do that. Not trying to like sit around and wait for tops to get blown out, and it's going to happen right now. Sometimes you just get lucky. Like, you put on the trade, it works for you. That's why you got to get out, and then still have the ability to hold the runners, right? You got to hold the runners in case something does go down for you. But there it is, a nice little trade there for me on AMD, and just get ready because it's going to come out here if it takes down this 20 level. I had it at 20. I mean, let me just make sure where I have this stop. I had it at 20. Yeah, I'm gonna put that. Oh, I got to change the price actually. No, that's fine. Let's just give it up to that 25 level there. I don't have time to switch it right now, the price to get out. But I think if you're waiting for anything, it just gave that 20 again. I don't really want to go short anymore right now, so I'm just gonna sort of hold off on that and see where we go. So that's a little level for me here on that game. We're just gonna play it here with AMD. Just wait to see if it breaks, man. I mean, we're going to use the 50 period as our out for AMD, but all is well, man. This has been a big trade for me today. AMD, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft. Just trying to keep it as simple as it can. That Kano, I gave you the $9. Oops, it's a New York name there as the top. Well, guess where we are?
Of course it's New York.
Yeah, we're right at, Robinson there. Maybe it's a Seattle name, but you could see right there a nice move up. We gave you that 9. And, that's right where it went to. So watch out for this. $9 on Kano. It's taking it out right now. That's $9.92. $10 is the next little level up. So I like the short here against that high, and I think you could take it against 40 cents. But remember, this is not like, this is buyout rumor, right? This is not like, oh, they just dropped a new product or something like that. So you got to be careful because, hey, when there's smoke, there's fire. This is a little bit of a different game, in my opinion. So just be careful. Watch out for that top of 950. I think you can short it into that, but don't hold it if it breaks.
Yeah, the thing about buyout rumors is they tend to give like an artificial floor sometimes on a stock, so you watch out for that. It hasn't broken the top yet on NVIDIA. As I see the market come up, I kind of felt like, oh, we're going to get strong enough. We'll probably break this out, and we'll only take 2/3 out, and it's going to end up stopping the rest. But it's actually checking up a little bit with a lower high, so have to be able to respect that. Do see it as a bit of a relatively strong name. Oh, I wasn't trying to ignore Meta, but Meta, I was looking for the break. I was looking for the dip buy in Meta this entire time, but not much of a dip to be had, even with the market coming back in. So Meta showing some signs of relative strength. Just going to put it up on one of my other charts. So maybe next time I'll actually notice that this is going on here. I think this is actually holding up 143.50, so halfway to where I wanted it. Forget about 143. I think 143.50 is where I'm going to want this thing. So just going to check up. I know I said I wanted to dip buy Meta at that 140 level. And we do have only 25 minutes until the end of the day, which means just over 15 minutes right now till we get those imbalances. So a little bit later in the session than maybe I realized. I don't think I want to reload Sava too many times when it gets this late in the session. If it wants to go down, it can do that. But yeah, Meta, I like this one for strength. If we take out the top, I'd much prefer buying these dips in front of 143.50. But if we're going to take out the high before the imbalances come, I really don't mind taking a break. It's been a pretty strong name. I don't know if we have an early look here. I'm going to guess. I mean, it doesn't really matter where the imbalances come. We'll just sort of take it as it is. That's what we try to do. I'm going to guess it's a small buy, like a very small one, because every imbalance this week has been infinitesimally small going into it, and then you hope for a billion number. Not that we've really gotten those.
Yeah, it's a decent buy, 253 right now to buy. So good level there to buy. There it is. We'll end the trade there. We'll catapult ourselves out of that last 10% there for AMD again. Oh, I did want to. I was just, again, like I respond to the tweets all the time, right? So I just want to show you guys one little thing here. So someone said, oh my God, AMD long on the sticky note today. He's like, oh, dope. But then I was responded like, we also talked about on the sticky note getting out at 74. So there's the long, there's the out on 74, there's the short, there's the short, there's the short. So, and that's the thing about the sticky note and about some ideas and things like that. I'm going to give you guys key levels, how I'm going to trade them against those levels. When those levels break, I mean, then it's a completely new ball game, right? I mean, I wish I had that crystal ball. I mean, I have my 8 ball here, and it's just a normal 8 ball, not the one that you guys might be thinking about. That one we use for fun all the time. But again, like if I knew that AMD was going to be down 7%, then obviously we would have hit the short real early on a lot of these names. But that's why you got to switch up your game. Like we go long here at 74, we get out at 74.20, right? Only a piece. Then when it breaks back down below 74, we get out for a 20-cent hit. Then it just doot. We let it bump back up because we realize it's weak. We short, then out, right? Then we short again, then out, then we short. And the story is as it was written. Reference to Nas there, Brendo. What's up?
Top 10.
I just saw this Shift Pixie starting to go once again. Another one that's up 34+% on the day. Some volume coming back into this. They got NASDAQ regained compliance. That was basically it after they did this reverse split, if you remember going back to last week.
Yeah, like that's why you do the reverse split, because you got to get above that dollar. Yeah. Anyways, I just took another leg out on Rivian. I'll be very thankful that it rejected VWAP, because you're bouncing and looking like you want to break these highs. So the fact that it actually wants to give me an exit in this range, I will gladly take it. Do not want this breaking those tops. I'll take another leg out right here as well, because as I was just saying, the market trying to break back above this consolidation. You know what, a 60-minute does not do that justice, so I'll throw the 15-minute up here. You're trying to hold this channel to the upside. The last time we bounced off this high, we came back like 70 to 80 points on the NASDAQ. This time we're coming back half that. Going into a small buy imbalance, but that's enough to say, hey, we're running out of time in the day, got to be out of these positions at the end of the day. So yes, trim it. No need to hold on to it all the way to the upside. I said I wouldn't reload Sava. It's a little bit late in the day, so I did have that last entry and then give it up at 50. So there's a decent chance it could do another fail break at 50. I don't know that I would short that at this point. I think I'll give it up, maybe look for it a little bit, maybe look for this tomorrow. Hopefully it's still this high and I can play it off the 50 and 55 level, but it's getting late in the day. If it was really going to flush and give you that real big home run, I think it would have done so already. Doesn't feel like it wants to do it. So it's just NVIDIA, which I still have that last third of, but that's taking out this 127 as we speak. So bye-bye NVIDIA. Rivian somehow still in the money, but I think that's going to come out any time now. And Meta about to take out the top. That looks pretty strong. Google, that wicked me out. Now it's breaking 100. So the long I liked, it'll happen to you. I tried to hold on to this, but I told you where the stop was going to be. It ran the stop. It went another 5 cents, and now you're breaking out the high of the day. That's going to happen to you sometimes, and that's the story of Google. I feel like, though, Google only wants to go 50 cents at a time, which is weird. It feels stronger than that, but for whatever reason today, that's the path it's traveling.
Yeah, the path less taken for Google lately anyways. I mean, it's been down. I always have the same names on the radar, and Google down there, we started the day with a long down at 100. We were able to get something out around the 20s, but it never went any higher than that for us. So then we switched through to the short when we broke back down through 100, but then again, that didn't really go anywhere. We were able to take a little bit of profit, then got out again, and I've really just ignored it, and now it's up to that 101 level. So yeah, that's a really good name. Look, I'm not going to be getting into anything else here today because I've missed the longs. Like, I had them all. I just got out. Like I said, we're having a pretty big day here, so I'm just going to just chill out a bit and look at some names. If there's anything you guys want me to look at, I will do that for you right now. So put them in the chat, and I'll start to look for you. 56.50 here. I like that level on Square. You're above the 50 period. But again, like, there's only 10 more minutes until imbalances. I'm already at a level that I'm very, very happy with the day. I got to take my kid to karate today. He's leveling up every single day. And then I got to also take him to go get his skates sharpened as well, as hockey is back this weekend. So we're really happy to hit the ice rink again.
Yeah,
already.
I know. You know what? It's almost the end of September.
What
am I even saying?
Yeah, you don't realize that. Hockey, but I didn't realize it either. I got the email, and I said to Marissa, I was like, what? Like, it's hockey already? And she said basically the same thing to me, that, yeah, it's hockey already. So get ready for that one for everybody that's there with kids and everything. That's going to be real fun. I mean, here in Canada, obviously it's still popular in the northwest and northeast
it's like a way of life
of the U.S., but definitely a big, big day here today to trade, and I'm excited. The girls got gymnastics. The boy has hockey skates and what else? I said karate today. So
that's a lot, man.
I know, but it's like my 8-year-old is out from 6 to 9. It's 3 hours gymnastics. See, 9 o'clock.
So Erin got put in a new, like, her gymnastics is tonight too, and she's 5.
Yeah.
And now she's in this one, and it starts at I think it starts at 7:10, and it goes to like 8, the quarter after 8 or whatever.
That's a lot,
and I think that's really late for a 5-year-old, but that was the only class available, and there's 0% chance I'm not telling her no. Like, come on, man.
Oh wow, that's not. I mean,
I think it's too late, but but it's happening. She says she wants to do it, then we're doing it because that's how things work when you have a daughter. So I think it's too late.
Well, kids need about, I was looking it up, it's between 9 to 10 hours of sleep. So if she's a good sleeper, then I think you're going to be fine, especially if you can get her down before 8:39. But I don't know. I mean, that's, kids going sleeping sometimes doesn't happen as quickly.
Samuel L. Jackson had a kid's book.
Yes.
I won't say the name of it, but
Go the F to sleep.
Yeah, that's my daughter sometimes.
I think I should read that too. I should read that to Prad over there. Hey, Prad, what's up? Oh, yeah,
what's
he's
up,
not
Prad?
there. Yeah, what's up, Prad?
But before we go
I want that beat. There he is. Hey, what's up, Prad? Hey,
he's in the studio probably right now.
Right. He's fixing that beat. Let's hit that beat again, Fahad, when you got that. I want to hear what's going on that again.
Yeah, we're hitting it more.
Yeah, you let us know. What is it on? I can't hear it. Dude, I got to watch these trades.
Huh? What?
That's it, and then it ends.
And it keeps going over and over again.
That's really the problem.
Before we go on, can you cut the beat? Cut that beat. Get that out of here.
Turn those shits
down.
down.
Get that out of here.
Why is it not getting cut?
Fahad, man.
I mean, either the beat gets cut or someone gets cut over there.
Front hand, backhand. We could play that game all day. Front hand.
There we go.
Backhand.
Lucas got rid of that one. Lucas, man.
I see what you're doing.
You know what? Let's just not say anything. Let the beat run, and then the producer will handle Lucas. So just let it keep going.
Okay.
It's
what you want to do? It's how we're going to play it? Okay, you can play. We could play. We could play like this if you want.
It does sound like an accordion. These guys are right, man.
There is a little accordion in there, but it's not a bad intro,
Brad
man.
doesn't know what an accordion is. I mean,
of course he does.
There's absolutely
Before we get too far, we have 7 minutes till the imbalances come. I want to make sure we shout these guys out as usual. But yeah, the close, as always, brought to you by True Trading Group. They did a fantastic job. I saw someone in the chat asking about them. 2 things. A, they do have the link to their stream after 4 when we're done is going to be right up here at the top. And B, I know oftentimes they gift out those memberships. As far as I understand, the way that you claim them when they're gifted to the group is when you first log in, there's like an accept gifts. And if you do that when they're gifted out, I think they're just given to people that have accepted them that aren't members. I don't know if you actually
gifted. I don't see any now.
No, not right now. I'm just saying. Someone asked, how do you do it when it happens? And my understanding is that you have to enable that when you first log into this or open up the stream. You usually see like accept gifts. You click that button, you should be good to go. I'm only in Ford, which I'm going to get out of. Osh, I was just looking at Osh a little bit there, but Ford, it's coming right down to my level, like that 1280. So I'm going to get out of this. I've been holding it pretty much all day long here. And then even Rivian, I don't know how much more it wants to continue. I'm trying to give this room to flush back into these bottoms. It just doesn't feel like it wants to do it, but I'm going to hold on, slap a trailing stop in here beneath VWAP, probably 33.70, just so we're not losing on the last of this trade, and then see if it can't fall. It is like I said, it was a pretty small imbalance there to the buy side. We'll see if this can fall down to the downside because the market does seem to want to come in here. And Rivian's been weak, so we'll give it some room.
Can we grab that story again, Brendo, on Osh? Because kind of missed that one there. It is absolutely, unless you can remember it, Neil.
Sympathy story to the
Humana one? To the Kano one?
It's a Kano.
Okay, yeah, Brendo just saying that in our ear. Good, so you remember that. Okay, yeah, wow. Wow. Yeah. Again, like you want to trade something that's moving here into the close. Obviously, the market's dancing around a little bit. So I don't know if you want to. I'm staying away from all the big cap names now as they figure themselves out there. But whoops. Okay, Fibonacci lines. No, we don't need those. But right there, we're coming in $24 there. That was obviously the bottom here today. And you're just going to look at this 30 bottom. And I just think that, you're going to trade these names because of the volume that they're doing. So, that's the reason why you want to look at these names. But at the same time, you want to be very, very careful with what exactly you're looking at because some of these names are just bumped up. This is only 3%, so that's kind of like a normal play there. But, a lot of this, like they weren't named in anything. So if you sort of dig deeper into it. As far as I know, we're going to go back now to Brendan. If you're going to talk about MindMed, it's moving around right now. What's up, Brendo?
More M&A, one of those kind of days. Freshpet, FRPT. Worth noting, I just saw Chewy pop up probably on this as well. Freshpet popping up here and halted, guys, on some Jana Partners news. Maybe a stake here. It's actually trading up here. Needs to fill in, but we're up here halted right now for FRPT. Chewy as well on this.
And MindMed just shot up there a little bit there from 6 up to 630 on a move there. We don't have again. I think it just gapped. Well, yeah, they reverse split.
I'm like, why?
Yeah, they went 10 to 1. This name is 60 cents right now. Yeah, MindMed there on a nice little bump up to the upside as well. Just took off. So there it is. Now it just filled up there after the minute completed itself. That's the reason why, Brendo, you have the news so fast that it doesn't complete that 1 minute chart yet, that bar chart. So that's why it ticks up higher there. That's what just happened to me on MindMed. So I don't know, maybe that's what happened on Brendo's chart. But yeah, MindMed's starting to go back up to the upside as well. Remember I said this earlier. Actually, it wasn't on this show. It was on another. When I talked about Beyond Meat down here at, holy shit, now it's up here? Well, I'm going to look like a genius at some point. I talked about this right at 12 o'clock, that Beyond Meat should be bought down here at about 1460. And why? Again, because of exactly what Brendan just said, Janus Partners, different things like that where you get some activists coming in and trying to pick up some names. Look at how disgusting this name has been. $40 back in August. Like, you want to talk about management changes? Their COO is biting other people, and then their CEO clearly is not focused either, as this move is just all the way back down to the downside. I feel like some activists or something's going to come up here for Beyond Meat and take this name, take an active stake and just try to figure out what's going on. Before I put any money into that, I really want to see what's up with Beyond Meat, because this name, just if you even look at this from a daily chart, going all the way back here to December, this was $200 down to $15. Like, what? This is 2 Decembers ago. But that's like, even if you go back to this last December, $72 down to 15. Like, I just, you want to talk about a broken name, Beyond Meat broken. And I've been talking about shorting this thing from time. We did a video when this was at 50, and I was like, this name is never going back to anywhere where it was. And I even said, like, this might have been the high. So again, should have shorted it, didn't do it, but there's Beyond Meat. Now I'm getting a little more meaty with this one, and I myself may take a stake.
I like that stay comment there. It's you got to get these segues in there. I mean, every now and then you got to drop
I'm
one of these.
trying. I know it was pretty
but
bad.
Just to keep in mind, Beyond Meat, 33% short. I mean, depending on where you look, I see 36 or 33%. That's a distinction without a difference. I'm out of Rivian. The market just took out that resistance it had, so all the shorts are out. You know, whether I was still able to get this actually at a decent price out, and I took out Ford as well because there's no need to fight this. 2 minutes till imbalances. And the market just broke to the upside. So maybe, I don't want to say it's going to happen. We're not that far away from the NASDAQ being in the green. And the ES is more or less, I mean, it's pretty much right there. So there's a chance, it's not zero, that we could actually end up in the green. If we do so, we'll give a thank you to Alphabet because it continues to go higher. So that's me. That was the long I had, and that was me getting wicked out. And now finally through that high of the day, we get the imbalances in 90 seconds. However, we're under 1,000 likes, and I hope that's not because of that sick beat that Prad dropped down there. I mean, Prad slaved in the studio for hours so that you guys could have the coolest beat that I've ever heard in my lifetime, and we can't even get to 1,000 likes. Take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so we can have Prad be happy over the fact that he blew this thing up. I know he didn't slave hours on it, but I promise you, he's going to come back with a vengeance. I kind of feel like he's got a bit of a hidden talent. I didn't even think that guy had a lab to go to, but apparently he does. So let's show some respect for that. And then we had Raider Trader on here dropping knowledge. He also said something about Costco, which this morning I was sort of telling myself that I wanted to get into Costco after earnings. And then Andrew was very cagey about his buy Costco, and that just makes me like it a little bit more. I do want to see them report. If it does dip down, I want to be buying that dip on Costco. The fact that he said buy Costco, I don't know if that's the reason I like it. I like the company anyways, but yeah, he kind of gave that tongue in cheek, and that's the kind of advice we love to be able to see there. I love it when a couple of minds think alike. It just makes you like the idea even more. 10 seconds to imbalances. We'll get them lined up so we can bring them to you live in 5 seconds here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
here we go. 2 and 1, and now they're live right here into the system. Now, I got to kill. I found some AMD bids out there. I didn't notice. Okay. Let's see if Brendan gives it to us. I see him typing in our chat right now, and he is going to give the number, and he's going to hit enter. But there it is. Nope, not out yet. Okay, AMD is a sell right there. So AMD coming back in a little bit on the sell side. So there you go. You see a little bit of a drop down. We got to look here on the 1 minute chart to see what's happening. So there's AMD, a nice sell from to the downside there. 600 to sell goes Brendan. So a nice move down there for AMD, as you guys can see. So that's a nice dump down. Intel's a sell as well. It looks like it's a decent sell here in the market, as there goes the NASDAQ back down to 1635. 11635 right now on the downside for the NASDAQ. So just be very, very careful with that one. But there goes the NASDAQ to the downside. TLT, AMD, all these names. Microsoft with a sell. But the market's going down. It's all that. Wow. Microsoft, what? This is a major sell, isn't it, if that's right?
What?
This is $1. This is $1.50 sell side. How much did AMD go down? AMD, no.
Well, so much for us going green.
Shit, I would
Jinx.
buy, if there was enough time left, I think I would buy this Microsoft down here all the way down as it's continuing to go down. This might be an interesting spot here for MSFT guys to buy. I don't know why it's down there. It's almost like that doesn't make any sense. That's a big move down. We've been long it all day. It's been really strong. To me, that shouldn't be enough, 600,000, but it's a sell side. What did it do to Google as well? Like
Not
Google,
as much. Not
yeah, I mean, Google went down 30 cents. I don't know, really surprised there on what Microsoft did. I think it's a buying opportunity. I'm not going to do it.
There was something with
There's
them
only
and
8 minutes
ATVI,
left.
right?
ATVI?
Because like anytime... Like
Well, yeah, the DOJ was looking into that deal.
Because I'm kind of looking at on the imbalances, like right when imbalances came out, Activision like shot to the upside,
Right.
and Microsoft came down. So I don't wonder, but it's a cash deal though, so there shouldn't be some kind of a hedge there going on. But maybe there is. That's the only thing I could think of is that Activision continued to run higher, but it's a cash deal. It shouldn't matter. If it was a stock deal, I could see someone playing something or unwinding something there. But that doesn't make a lot of sense to me why Microsoft dipped down that far. Like you said, there's not that much time in the day to try to make that kind of a bounce type play. But under normal circumstances, I'd consider putting it on. But yeah, Activision, I'll be interested to see how these two behave tomorrow morning. like if you actually see that continued strength in ATVI, which has been trending upside. I should be paying a little bit more attention to ATVI as it gets closer to this deal possibly closing and finds a little bit of strength. It's not like your traditional buyer where it trades a tight range, but it's it's getting back up to that point where it's like, yeah, when it trended up last time from here, it got all the way back to 80. And then, it's bouncing off that same 74, 75 area. And if it does the same thing, maybe worth just trying some longs in this. But you got to keep your ear to the ground. That's the thing with trading ATVI. One bad word from the regulators or one bad post in the middle of the day, and the algos see it first, they drop the bid, and you hope you have a stop. But the trend could start getting good again here in Activision.
Did anybody take that long there in Microsoft? Because we were talking about it down there at 241.80, let's just call it. It just went up to 240, so that was a great long if you had it. But again, a little risk associated with that because on that drop down, no idea where we were going with that. Google, Apple, let's just check back in on Amazon, another name that we're going to be trading tomorrow again. So that made a high of 119. We're going to definitely watch out for that name coming through tomorrow again. Let's check out on that Kano quickly here. As that was near, yeah, look at that, $9 was the high there. $9.60 was the high. $9 is what we sort of indicated as a pass level there for Kano coming in. Right, that was 7. Sorry, it was into, yeah, it was right here where all this sort of inventory was up to. I mean, it went right into that area. So I mean, we identified that for you. I hope you were able to take advantage of it. Yeah, now it just fell right back. And again, this is probably a buy spot for Kano now. Like it's 32% is not enough if it is indeed going to get looked at as a possible takeover candidate. So I would look at that right now. We'll see about this tomorrow. Kano could be a good runner. And remember what I said earlier was that AMD took down that bottom and could be a long for tomorrow. So just watch out. We've seen that sort of happen back and forth now with with Microsoft, with Google, and then now with Meta, all nicely up today. Microsoft, right? Down market, up 1%. That's a 2% difference right there for Microsoft today. Google, the same thing. Hits its low yesterday, today. 2.5% difference between them and the market. Meta yesterday hits 52-week lows. Meta today, again, that 2% difference. So I don't know. The chips have been weak, but so have all the other names, and they did bounce back a little bit right now. So let's just be careful with some of the plays that we're looking for. But I do like Meta. I do like AMD, possibly for a swing trade into tomorrow. But tomorrow's Friday? Yeah.
Today's Thursday?
Yeah, today's Thursday Night Football. Oh, yeah. That's right.
So we're not taking the game.
We're not taking the game, but for some reason in the stupid pool where I lost Trey Lance, I lost Dak Prescott, and I just traded for Trey Lance. I've got Deontay Johnson. I should have Nick Chubb, but I got rid of him for tonight. We have Najee Harris. We have the Pittsburgh defense, and I have Amari Cooper. So if you guys want to go against any of my players tonight, feel free to do that because one of them is going to get hurt. So my call would be Najee Harris because he means so much to
He's
my team.
already hurt.
Yeah, no, but at least he's playing.
He's tough, man.
Still put up 20 points or something last week, which was decent.
4 minutes to go. I see Tony getting ready to ring the bell. We got 4 minutes. I wanted to show, we haven't talked too much crypto, but Bitcoin, look, we just pulled back in the market, so Bitcoin just now did make a bit of a dip, but was grinding higher all morning. But I got to show you what's not, and that's going to be, look at the weakness in Coinbase. Right? Like if we're going to get a rally at the end of the day in the market and a rally at the end of the day in BTC and ETH not doing too bad, Coinbase on the lows ain't going to fly, man. There's a saying that they say like, I'm a baseball player. I played ball pretty much my entire life. When some guy steps on the mound and he throws like, garbage, it's like all change-ups, all they say is, that's not going to play. That's not going to play. You throw that in a game and it's going to be garbage. This is not going to play. Down 6.5% as the market's trying to get up when Bitcoin's going higher. That's not going to play in Coinbase. It's no good. That's absolute trash. And by the way, I came in this morning sort of saying Coinbase is close to breaking a floor. It's right here. It's about $62. We're now $1 away from that. So this is another one. Like you break 62. And there's a big gap to the downside on Coinbase. Got to have this one on our radars to be sure. I'm going to double check to make sure I've canceled all my stop orders because we, like I said, only have 2 to 3 minutes left there. Don't want to have any orders out or anything coming into play. The market is pulling back in, or even Google's coming back to that downside. Meta was super strong. It bounced all the way to 143. This is where I did like the dip buy, but it's 357. So I mean, you're not taking that trade with 2 minutes left, obviously, but it did stall at VWAP there. As everything came back in, and the market tried to go green. The ES was like 0.06 away from going green on the day. I opened my big ass mouth, and then the market reversed because I jinxed things apparently.
No, it's all good. I mean, down 1% I think is worth it. After what was so bad yesterday there, I feel like today, you're just getting a little bit of a relief rally, sorry. Could have been a hell of a lot worse than where it was. That's what I was sort of getting at. We're off the bottoms, which is nice. We did get a little bit of a rally here into the close. Unfortunately, we did just make that move down. But, I mean, tomorrow's another day, right? So that's 11,500 instantly bouncing off there. So we'll wait to see what's going on with it. But, hey, man, what a great, fantastic day. Let's just quickly check. Like I said, I have 0 LFT. I'm at the highest spot I've been at all day. We've already given you so many bangers today that I'm really happy with my trading, and I hope you're happy with yours. And if not, you'll be back tomorrow again, and so will we. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Disney with a bid there still. We could check out what Disney's doing. Okay, at least it's back above $100, up to $102.50. So that's been pretty good for a bounce play off that 100. We'll watch that tomorrow. There's your Kano. Oops, that's not Kano. I wish Kano was at $29 for all you people out there. There's Kano now with a little small bid, so you could get a little bit of a bump up here into the close. Other than that, Raider Trader talked about some of the banks. There it is right there. Ooh, big time trading there on Kano. Look at that. There's someone right there for 2,600.
That's a sell.
Sorry, 260,000 shares. Right there, kind of exactly what was on the imbalance. So we'll see if that gets out. There he goes. He's getting taken out. So as there, wow, they are chewing that Kano. There it is. Wow, it just got taken out there pretty hard. You just saw that live on the show. That was a pretty good one. I'm glad we were able to see that.
Damn.
You saw go. Like normally, back in the day, or if we had a little more time, I should have just done it for you right now. That's where you punch that long. Like that long was 36. When that starts getting lower and lower and lower, you just remove liquidity, grab that, and there's your 10 cents on 10,000 shares if that's what you want. There's a G note at the end of the day for you, thanks to Kano. So, all right, only 15 seconds left. The man, the myth, the legend,
should drop
times
the beat
2
right now.
is going to be on the close. So here we go. Only 6 seconds left now, Tony. 5, 4, 3. Oh, who's that? 2 and 1. Tony.
And Tony.
Yeah, Tony. So that's Tony's younger or similar brother. One got sun, one didn't.
Yes.
So you see there, one with color, one without there. I prefer the original OG Tony ringing the bell, but thank you. That was pretty funny. So
It feels good.
Tony. I like that one. Yeah, there you go again. Good one there. All right, so it does feel good. The market feels pretty good thanks to whoever that was with the funny jokes there.
I don't know.
I think we all have an idea of who it could be. Brendan, that was a real fun day. Thanks for all that news at the end of the day, man. That was a lot of names popping off. And Brendan, I think you're going to be a lot busier. With a lot of these names so depressed, I feel like there's going to be a lot of rumors and a lot of activism here. Activism? Yeah, that's right. Taking out some of these names and looking to get their money in.
Yeah, companies taking advantage, obviously, of massively depressed levels. Here we go. Board not on the TV, but there you go. A look at how we end the day here. 1.27 for the NASDAQ, as we said. Yup, could have been a heck of a lot worse after what happened yesterday. 0.9 for the S&P, 0.25%. We got positive for the Dow, so there's that. Brazil with a nice day. Oil with a nice day, 2% higher. Or actually, it was Bitcoin, not oil. Oil's still positive. 0.7 there for ETH as well, guys.
0.7.
So
I mean, those used to be big numbers.
It used to be.
Nowadays, stocks are dropping 7-8% like that.
I'm going to kick myself over, and I only noticed this right now. It's because I don't ever trade Nike. I really don't trade Nike. But I was like, Nike at 100 could be interesting after we closed below there yesterday. And it just, at the open, it broke 100, and then it never came back. It was a pretty clean trade. But that's the problem. Like you stick to what you know. It's never the front of my mind. But as the market comes down, you're going to see levels like this, I think, on a more regular basis where, that's just a big support and it gets flushed through. So always look out for them there, and we'll see. And thank you guys for getting us getting the likes up there. We were able to get to 1.3. It's not 1.5, but it was better than the 800 that we're sitting at. And I still believe, I know they're actually playing basketball right now, but I still believe Prad after what happened, he's going to come back with fire. I really do think he's going to, because I know Pratt, he's going to probably just not sleep and then spend all his time in the studio.
I think he said that
dropping
beat
a
was like
for
a
us.
few years old. So I think
It's years old?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
thought he had just done this recently or something.
No, I thought he
Oh.
said it was an old one when he was there, but maybe not. We'll find out more about that beat. But it's more like elevator music. It needs that beat. So
As long as it
yeah, he said, yeah, Fahad said he also said that it was old, but he realized how crappy it was. So there, is that in the background? Can everyone hear that or just us? All right, let's wrap the show up. I want to thank everybody today. I want to thank Jam Master Jay as well, AKA Prad, for that. Turn it off now. Now I think it's, I mean, we'll keep it on. I don't care. Fine, keep it on. Let's just wrap this up. Thanks to Justin. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, everybody. What did Brendan just say? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if Neil actually likes this or he's just trolling Prad. But
What, I can't actually
I'm-
like it, Sean?
I'm with Raider Trader. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying there. Thanks, Brendan, for convincing these guys to cut it. All right, I'm just going to wrap it. For everyone at Trader TV Live, we'll see you later. Ciao. Tomorrow, 8:30.